today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
FightSaga.com presents WAWR Week Radio Chats with boxing scribe Joseph Heron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Thursday. And I guess this is becoming somewhat of a weekly thing, our WAWR Radio Chats. And guys, it's always a pleasure to share the air with my brother, Frank by the Bay. Frank, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. As long as Joe keeps having me on, as long as anybody's willing to listen to me.
Oh, stop it. You're very insightful, man. And you're definitely a positive addition to the broadcast, man.
I try to be.
Yeah. Well, in the immortal words of Master Yoda, to try is to fail, sir. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. No, you're very insightful, man. God bless you, brother. And I tell you what, we've got a lot to discuss, and praise the Lord. This is the last time, hopefully, that we'll have to discuss, this absolute albatross in boxing, right? We're talking about the breakdown and the meltdown of Crawford versus Spence. Boy, what a week it's been. What the last 2 weeks it's been. This has been very tumultuous to most boxing fans. And guys, we're going to give it to you straight. And with all of the, I can say this with great certainty. With everything that's come out, with everything that we've been telling you and that we know, this fight was doomed from the start. And we'll explain. And to be honest with you, I hold both parties accountable for this with everything that's come out, including, the closest we're ever going to get to see Crawford and Spence tangle. And that was last night on Twitter. So we're going to talk all about that. Frank, are you happy that we're finally moving on and we'll see some movement in the logjam that is the welterweight division?
Bittersweet, because I don't think anybody could say they're glad the fight didn't happen. But at the same time, like you said, it's whatever's best for boxing. And the best thing for boxing is these guys to move on. And they have the titles. Now, if they didn't have the titles, who gives a shit, Like Coach Gogi said, can I cuss? Or because
Go ahead, brother. No. Have you, as you were, brother. Anything you want to say?
Fuck them both.
I can just imagine Gogi's two-gun salute right there in the camera.
Yeah, fuck them both, man.
Oh, geez. Go ahead, sir. No, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what it is what one of my sayings is, nobody could hurt you but the ones you love. And I think people love these fighters and because they're amazing talents, but when you get burned, it's like a woman scorned. Fuck them both.
And you know what? Sadly enough, we love this sport so much. Obviously, we're so devoted to it. Damn it, boxing! When are you gonna love us back? When are you gonna love us back? Chingao, it's like a terrible girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
But just to piggyback off the last part you said is that at least it opens up for these young guys that people are following, Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, maybe a dark horse, Josh Taylor, if he moves up. But there's some names, there's some fights. There's still Keith Thurman. I know people would not like that, but it'll be a good 23. That's all I can say going forward.
Yep, and hopefully we can end the show this time on some positive news rather than what we've done in the last 2 weeks. So come on, 7-Eleven. Let's go. I tell you what, though, guys. So before we move forward and basically try to make sense of this, this sailor's knot, right? Try to untie this thing for all of you. Let's give a shout out to my brother Hy-Vee. Thank you for joining us, sir. He says exactly. Big ups, Joe. Big ups to you, my friend. Thank you for always supporting WAWR Week Radio. He says, time to put this broken mess all on the table and attempt to make some sense of it. And that's exactly what we're going to do for you, sir, tonight. And I gave everyone a kind of a preview last night if you joined us on Boxing Gems, Ryan's program. And want to give a big shout out to him for always allowing me to, spill the beans and break the news on his channel. Also want to give a shout out to my very dear friend, James, the Boxing Source. He's listening to us en route somewhere. He's on a plane ride somewhere. So we want to thank you for listening in, my friend. And we wish you could join us tonight, brother, but we understand if you can't. But thank you for always supporting the show, sir. We love you, brother. And he says this. There were a few things stated that were very interesting. Yes, they were. And we're going to talk all about it. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother, Jesus M. Thank you for joining us, sir. Saludos to you, brother. Also want to give a shout out to my brother, Peter Von Arx. Salute to you, my friend. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Rather than sneezing into the mic, I press mute. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, brother. Here it is. Joseph, is Benavidez versus Plant a result of Al being put under pressure by Showtime? Look, this belabored negotiation was a product of Al being under pressure by Showtime with Crawford and Spence. Okay, because, and I'm going to spell it out for you. I'm going to tell you all about it, guys. And also, Taylor fights Catterall in February. Yes, he does. Also, don't forget, Charlo fights Tim Tszyu in January.
Hell of a fight.
Yep, hell of a fight. Good of you to join us, Brother Sean. We appreciate it, my friend. In fact, I'm going to, in case you'd like to join us, because the show is much better with you in it, I'm going to drop the link for you, brother, in case you have your headphones and are ready to roll. Here it is. He said, Rick said it. David versus Plant, pay-per-view, but not pay-per-view bout. I don't know if that's going to be on pay-per-view, brother. Unless it's on Fox, that's not a pay-per-view worthy fight. That's not. And I can't see Showtime staging that on pay-per-view if it's going to be on Showtime Sports. But once again, the initial fight poster that Caleb Plant put out doesn't say the network yet. It just means that both contracts have been signed. And, well, Al Heyman's going to be working hard to find someone to pay the licensing fee, right? So that's what that means. So we'll see what platform that ends up on. Who knows? It may not even be Showtime. We'll have to find out, guys. But look, from what David Benavidez said, he said it's going to be staged early March 2023. It's good enough for me. Tell you what, hold on. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Tycho TV. Salute to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us, brother. So let's get started, guys. And obviously, Terrence Crawford, a couple days ago, he came out, right, and gave this diatribe. And this was Tuesday night, right, on his Instagram. And basically stated, well, you know what? I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. And just like our brother Ronnie said on Tuesday night, well, there are three sides of every story. There's your truth, there's his truth, and there's the absolute truth, right? So this was his truth in the world according to Bud Crawford. Okay, and basically we're gonna sum up this, right? And I've got the transcript right in front of me. But basically start off by Crawford laying the blame squarely at the feet of manager Al Heyman, right? He claims that talks broke down when Heyman refused offers Crawford claims he brought to him from two hedge funds willing to bankroll the fight. Well, we're going to tell you why that happened. And we're also going to tell you what really doomed this negotiation from the beginning. Crawford says both were willing to pay each fighter $25 million upfront guaranteed. Crawford says he communicated directly with Spence. Crawford says he also told Spence the upfront deal was the right deal because it didn't rely on back-end pay-per-view money. He said no one buys pay-per-views anymore, and Spence agreed. So, Bud, why the hell are you demanding so much damn money? Crawford says he doesn't blame Spence because Spence works for Heyman. That's not true. Heyman works for Spence, right? Where Crawford is a free agent and an independent businessman who can make his own decisions. Well, that's another reason why this negotiation broke down. Okay, because without quality representation and without having experienced representation who have experience making these deals. Okay, and once again, to anyone who tries to tell me, right, that he had quality representation, then why the hell did you feel the need to contact both Spence and Al Heyman directly? Once again, it's the inexperience of Terrence Crawford. This is his first time to the big dance as an independent businessman, quote unquote, right? And Crawford claims he's willing to fight young starts, Jaron Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz, but implied that neither of them or their teams approached him, and Avenetians did. That's pretty much the gist of it. But let me tell you, and first of all, so what were your thoughts, Big Frank, when you actually listened to that entire diatribe for about 20 minutes?
I laughed. It just was funny. It was like watching. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm the one sitting at the table with these high individuals. I'm like, my goodness, dude. Okay, you know what? You should have allowed the adults to speak, the guys who were experiencing this. You should have hired someone like Mike Miller. You should have hired someone like Richard Schaefer even. You should have hired someone like even the guy who's going to be organizing your event, Steve Bash. He's an excellent attorney from California. Okay? It's like, come on. Guys, at this time, it's always my pleasure to introduce this gentleman to the show. Welcome to the show, Big Sean. How you doing, brother?
Big Sean.
Hey, thank you for kind words, Joseph. I appreciate it.
I tell you what, brother, hopefully we get to end this edition of Thursday Night War Week Radio Chats on a much more positive note than we have in the past 2 weeks, eh?
Please do. Please do.
So, as Suseb says this, he says, Heyman works for the fighters, but they always say we see what Heyman decides, right? And once again, that's why he's your advisor. The same reason why Wilder has Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman as his advisors. They've been in this business forever. They've been through these deals, and they will point you in the right direction. Hold on, Boxing Source says this. Man, I got a fire stick too. Oh, and we also want to thank my brother Tyrese Bowie for joining us. This feces seems staged to me at this point. You know what? It's about that ridiculous now, isn't it? It's about that ridiculous. So this is gonna segue into our next what we're gonna talk about, right? It says Crawford said on the video that he initially talked with Heyman and Spence in May, but weeks earlier it was released that he talked to him in June. Which one is it? I can tell you firsthand, and this is what I reported, and it's been consistent with my timeline and everything that I've been telling you guys since this belabored and tired negotiation went on. He initially contacted him in late May, okay? And then, according to Terrence Crawford, he didn't receive a contract until August. And he said it wasn't even a contract. And I'm like, oh, geez. So this is what he says also, and I'll point out the first kind of inconsistency, right? He says that, he never got a guaranteed offer. I know firsthand that that's an absolute bullshit, flat out lie. Maybe he never received one on paper in contract form because they didn't agree to anything. Okay. But here's where I can point it out. Okay. That he's inconsistent, right? He says this. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll down. He says, look, we were from May till August, we were just going back and forth, talking about the numbers. It was just about the numbers. Okay, well, if you were never offered a guaranteed purse from Showtime Sports, a guaranteed offer, what numbers were you going back and forth with for 2 months?
Yeah, that rang bells.
No, because it's bullshit. Okay, but I will tell you why this was dead in the water from the get-go, right? And I'm going to read this out of his words, right? This is from his words on Tuesday night, right? So hold on, let me read this verbatim. He's like, yeah, and okay, there's so much to this. So let me read the first part. And this is, now it makes a lot of sense now why he came to the table, came to the negotiation, asking for that absurd $22 million guaranteed purse demand. Because he claims that he received an offer for $25 million before this negotiation ever started for both him and Errol Spence. $25 million apiece. This is what he had to say. He said, I have, quote, I have two companies, that reached out to me, wanted to give me and Spence $25 million guaranteed up front. So a real guy like myself, I call Spence. I say, hey, bro, look, listen, I got this company that's willing to give us $25 million apiece guaranteed. What's up? What you gonna do? Okay, end quote. Guys, and look, Crawford, and this is once again his inexperience, because and this really set the table for his unrealistic demand. In his mind, he's like, okay, well, that pretty much verifies that my market value is worth over $20 million. That's where we're going to start the negotiation at. Right? So, and a lot of people have been messaging me and asking me, well, why didn't Al Heyman actually take that? Right? And he should already know this. It's the reason, and I'm going to point to last year, the collapse of Pacquiao versus Crawford. Okay, when he had investors from the Middle East wanting to pay us a proposed site fee of $40 million to stage this event. Okay, it looked like it was a done deal, right? It looked like it was a done deal. In fact, I wrote an article after talking to Bruce Trampler saying that, yep, it's going to be announced within the next 2 weeks. Well, the deal fell apart the last minute because Bob Arum thought that was just the site fee, $40 million, Pacquiao's inflated purse demand to host the event. But for that $40 million, they wanted the broadcast rights as well. When Bob Arum found out, he said, hell no, I'm not going to do that to my broadcast partner, ESPN. They're basically bankrolling my entire operation with Top Rank. They give us $93 million per year and expect between 25 and 30 events every single year for that budget, for that annual allotment. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that to ESPN. There is no deal. Okay, well, it's the same thing. When Al Heyman said, I'm not going to let anyone touch this event. And I just saw young Bill. Come on, man. Come back, brother. Let's put you in, my friend. So Al Heyman said, nope, I'm not letting anyone touch this deal. And you know why? Because he depends on Steven Espinosa and Showtime Sports basically to fund his entire operation at this point. He's not getting any more TV dates from anyone else at this time, except for maybe Fox, and they're not guaranteeing shit. And if they do, it's going to be on pay-per-view out of necessity. That's the only way they're going to guarantee any of those matchups. That's why you've seen every single event from PBC on Fox pay-per-view as a result, right? So I hope that makes sense to everybody. But as soon as this guy, Terrence Crawford, comes in and says, okay, I want a $22 million guarantee if we're not going to take this offer with my two investors from this hedge fund, two hedge fund investors, right? And that just, once again, that there's no way that that's happening because his market value is so much lower than that. Like that makes it then, and in the words of Steven Espinosa, well, if we pay Terrence Crawford that, how much are we going to have to pay? Can you imagine how much we're going to have to pay Errol Spence Jr.?
Of course.
It becomes a $50 million main event, guys. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. This main event isn't worth that much. So already that should have told him. And then, okay, and from what we know about this negotiation, right? Terrence Crawford was absolutely refusing to give Showtime and Al Heyman options on his next two fights. Okay, right then and there, there's no need to go any further. Okay, Al Heyman should have just told him, hey, you know what? Thanks for even trying. But with this unrealistic demand, as well as you not wanting to give us options on your next two fights, even though I'm the one with the TV dates, I'm furnishing Errol Spence. I'm trying to get you a guarantee, and you want to do this without giving us options on your next two fights. No promoter is going to do that, guys. Unless you bring in numbers and produce numbers like Canelo Alvarez, no one is going to do that. Not Goldie, not Matchroom, not Top Rank, and definitely not PBC. That's just not going to happen. That's unrealistic. And once again, it's the inexperience of Terrence Crawford. And when Al Heyman, and this is why I blame Al Heyman as well, when Al Heyman discovered all of that, he should have just said, hey, you know what, Terrence? Have a nice career, brother. Go kick rocks.
He can't, though, can he, Joseph?
No, he can't. And here's why. Here's why he didn't. Because Steven Espinosa, once again, the guy who's bankrolling his entire operation at this point. And I'll explain once again, and I know all of you guys are smart enough and knowledgeable enough to understand how fighters get paid and how these events are furnished or are funded, rather. Okay? No major promoter. Okay, and let's get this out of the way. All that bullshit about PBC running out of money. No major promoter uses their own money to stage these events.
No.
Not Top Rank, not Golden Boy, not Matchroom, not PBC, not Tom Brown Promotions. None of these guys. They depend on the network licensing fee to pay for these expensive multi-million-dollar main events. The site fee pays for the rest of everything. The undercard, the promotion, the expenses, the accommodations, the airfare, everything. That's what the site fee pays for. None of it comes out of Al Heyman's own pocket. None of it comes out of Bob Arum's own pocket. That's it. That's the way it works, guys. So after knowing that, he should have told Terrence Crawford to go kick rocks. Thank you, but no thanks. But he couldn't because once again, Steven Espinosa demanded this fight. I want this fight for Showtime Sports.
Sure.
This will be the crown jewel of our boxing schedule for 2022.
Well, it's been in the agenda for a while. It's no secret that Spence said what he was going to do.
Yep. And
it was all roads were leading to this. So, you can imagine that everybody, especially with him being a free agent, because with you touching on the TV rights, the problem with Ryan and Tank at this very moment.
That's it.
We would be having the same problem between Bob and Al. And these conversations would be arguing about, is Bob or Al holding up the fight, right? Who's going to get it? Showtime, ESPN. This would be the same problem. With Crawford being a free agent, I'm sure that Espinosa and Errol and Al was sitting there going, like, this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
His last fight with Sean Porter, he only made this much. We're going to make this fight happen. We're going to go for undisputed. This is going to be huge.
So imagine the surprise of Espinosa when Terrence Crawford comes to the table and starts with $22 million guaranteed demand.
I can also understand, though, that's why it went on so long.
Yep, that's it.
Because they're going to try and explain their side, right? They're going to try and actually tell him what the situation is.
So the inexperience of Terrence Crawford, he's like, well, come on. This other party is willing to give us $50 million licensing fee or site fee or whatever guaranteed. But guys, they're going to want the broadcast rights. Okay. And Al Heyman's not going to do that to Espinosa because he depends on all of these TV dates on Showtime to fund his entire operation for all the rest of his fighters. Keep in mind, he doesn't just advise Spence. He advises over 250 fighters.
But apparently Al doesn't make big fights or good fights or any fights.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll announce a great one coming up next year. Woo-woo.
Yeah, but no one's talking about Al not making that, though, are they?
Not to mention Charlo versus Zoo. And once again, Zoo isn't a PBC fighter.
Well, it was only a little while ago we had Canelo versus Plant, did we not, for Undisputed?
Look, guys, it's a ton of nonsense. When you look at the calendar that we've enjoyed of 2022, it's been absolutely brilliant. And guys, we've got a great one that we're going to talk all about coming up, right? And it's this weekend from Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much, Matchroom Sport and DAZN.
Yeah,
Dimitri Bivol taking on Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Hold on, at this time, guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank, and then we're going to
Oh,
introduce someone
Oscar
into the
gets
show,
props
sir.
too. You know, people were bashing Oscar for this Munguia fiasco, but you know, he's putting in Zerto in tough. So it's, you know, I mean, come on, 1 for 1, 1 for 2.
Look, this is beginning to be a real problem, though, guys. In which these, and I talked about it on Ronnie's show on Tuesday, that these networks are going to have to start. They're going to have to stop signing these promoters to exclusive deals. Okay, they need to open the doors and open the bank or the pocketbook to sign and pay for individual matchups, not promoters, not sign promoters to long-term deals, not signing individual fighters to long-term deals. Make matchups, sign matchups, okay, like HBO and Showtime used to do. Guys, at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the always insightful, always candid, Brother HLD. Welcome to the show, sir.
How you doing, Joseph?
Hey,
I appreciate the I appreciate the introduction. What's going on, guys?
Hey, I don't lie, brother. You are always insightful and always
Joseph
candid,
made me bow.
almost to a fault, my friend.
I bowed myself. You know, like, I was like, "Thank you, man." I was waving to everyone. There's no
You're
one
the
here.
man, Sean, brother, and you know me, man. I always love to roll out the red carpet for anyone who graces and lets us share the air with them, right? Including Ronnie Shields, including James Gogi, including
I love
even
Ronnie's show, man.
including the notorious Rick Glazier, my brother. Like,
I'm sorry, I
and
have
look,
to avoid Rick's show, man. He does my
no,
head.
of course, dude. And look, guys. Truth be known, Rick and I, we always butt heads, but he makes me laugh. We've known each other for a very long time, and we're dear friends. And once again, he's very knowledgeable but when it comes to certain people in this business,
Yeah.
he
I mean, if he was
cannot.
talking about Zerdo Ramirez, I'll listen to it. If he's talking about Spence and Crawford, I'm out. Because he's good. Him and Al, I mean, I don't think he's on the Christmas card list, you know?
No, and look, and this goes way back. This goes decades, right? When
Yeah.
Before PBC, and apparently they were trying to do business together. He claims Al was in the wrong. Al disagrees, and since then, boy, he's had daggers for Al Heyman. And like a lot of people in this business, and I can understand why Goldie Fishnets has daggers for Al Heyman because of what happened with PBC or with his entire stable of clients, and then Golden Boy Promotions. And I know
Goldie
I was there.
Fishnets, Joseph.
Yeah.
Goldie Fishnets. That's like his stage name. That's his drag name.
Oh, that's his tranny name, brother. Goldie
That's his drag
Fishnets.
name. Goldie Fishnets performing live tonight.
Oh, Chingao, brother. But look, guys, and so there are a lot of people that I respect and I trust in this business for one reason or another that cannot remain objective when it comes to Al Heyman. But guys, on this channel, okay, and this is why I adore these Thursdays now, because I can speak my piece and actually can let you guys know what my opinion is on all of this. I don't have to just be respectful and ask questions to any of my guests. I can tell you exactly how I feel, and with enough sweet amber in me tonight, yeah, guys, you're gonna get it.
Let's go.
Woo! So guys,
Joseph.
look. Honestly, there were no need for these negotiations to go any further than that. As soon as Terrence Crawford comes up with this deal and he's fixated on it, okay, he knows. Okay, he like Al Heyman knows. Oy vey, this is going to be a problem. Okay, he's 67 years old. This isn't his first major deal that he's put together. Keep in mind, he was crucial in putting together Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and I assure you, that was a much tougher deal to put together.
No, Joseph. Al Heyman doesn't do big fights.
Look, and once again, he was crucial and the architect. According to Bruce, he was the architect. He completely put the deal together for
He lost
Tyson
500
Fury,
million, Joseph.
Deontay Wilder, right?
No, that never happened, Joseph. He doesn't make big fights, Joseph.
Yeah, I guess you're right, guys. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the always insightful, and I love his avatar. Thank you for the tongue-in-cheek there, brother. Here is the incomparable Hyphy. Welcome to the show, sir. Woo, woo, woo.
What's Joe? What's up, Joe?
Yeah.
What's up?
Dude, I love it. You just change your avatar.
Yeah.
Just
I was about to exit here.
Oh, mate.
I tell you what, welcome to the program. So guys, we're going to start once again counterclockwise this time. Hi, Fee, since you just joined the show, we're going to get your thoughts. What were your takeaways from Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence's, feud on Twitter, their dialogue on Twitter last night?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna pass the mic and let somebody else go first because I got some questions about just some other stuff regarding these negotiations.
No. Shoot then, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
All right, I'm just asking because I want to get some clarity on this whole saga that's been going on for a long time. So, Joe, you remember that it was reported that initially Crawford was being offered a fight with Thurman as like his introductory to PBC. Is there any truth to that?
That is absolutely true. They wanted to, once again, they knew that Terrence Crawford, he wanted not just a tune-up fight, but he wanted, and they wanted to have him an introductory fight to set up the Crawford-Spence showdown, introduce him to the Showtime platform, and that's when he said, no, I'm just interested in this fight. Initially, yeah, he thought it was a good idea. Okay, that's even from Bomac. And then all of a sudden he had an about face and said, no, this is just a one-off. I'm only interested in this fight. In my opinion, it was the other deal that soured this entire negotiation.
So
and Al Heyman knew it. And the only reason why he strung this along as long as he did, and he shouldn't have, because Steven Espinosa really wanted this fight to materialize for Showtime.
So from your understanding, it wasn't Thurman asking for $10 million that ruined that fight.
Well, it was when he was still with Top Rank. Sure. I can verify that. I mean, Bruce Trampler said he didn't even talk to Al Heyman. They just got a fax proposal. A fax, like anyone still uses fax, right? They got a fax proposal with a $10 million guaranteed demand from ESPN. Those were his demands in fighting Terrence Crawford. And this was maybe a year and a half ago that happened. Okay. And that was so unrealistic. And everyone perceived it at that time of Keith Thurman pricing himself out. So now think about how Espinosa, and once again, guys, these were their exact words, right? And once again, Young Bill and I wish he'd come back. Young Bill and I reported this on Boxing News 24 on July 12th, if you remember. The headline read, have Bud and Showtime Sports reached an impasse?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was June 12th, right? And so for someone who claims he never received a guaranteed offer, what the hell were you guys talking about then from May until August?
That's the thing. I'm sure that they're trying to explain how wild and ridiculous that is.
Yeah, guys. And once again, we've been very consistent in telling you guys everything that we knew going up to that point. That Showtime started off with a $5 million guaranteed offer, which in my opinion is very generous. Okay. Terrence Crawford started this, and it's understandable now why, after receiving that offer from an unknown investor of a hedge fund, right? They started negotiations off at $22 million. Okay, then Showtime then countered with $7 million. Then Terrence Crawford came down to $15 million. And then they said, hell, well, the furthest we're going to go, the most we're going to give you is $8 million. And the way I was told was this: if we give him $8 million, we're still going to have to pay Errol Spence 12, and the highest we're going to pay for this main event, we're going to cap it at 20 million. That's the highest we're going to be able to go. That's why we put out the article. Guys, this is a serious impasse, and we don't know how this is going to move forward. Well, here's the middle ground and this is how they convinced Terrence Crawford to receive that terrible deal of no guarantee, because that's the only way you could move forward. They were so far apart on guaranteed demand, saying, look, just so you don't think we're ripping you off, and if you really believe you're worth that much, then we're going to give you a percentage of everything, from the site fee, if there's anything left over, to the first pay-per-view sold to the last. You're going to get a percentage of that from start to finish, okay? but there's no way in Hades we're going to guarantee you a $15 million purse. And so Terrence Crawford tries to come on the air saying that he's been treated unfairly, been treated poorly, and they just tried to F him, right? Okay, I'm just going to say it. They tried to fuck him. Those were his words, right? On Tuesday night. And no one, okay, he doesn't bother explaining anything else, just that was the proposal sent over in August. That it was for no guarantee. And Errol Spence is like, well, wait a minute. I didn't receive a guarantee either, thanks to you. And I'm still willing to do the fight. I'm just getting a greater percentage. I've got the 3 belts. I'm the bigger ticket seller. I'm the bigger ratings draw. I've done better numbers on pay-per-view. I deserve it. But I'm not getting a guarantee either, Junior.
It's unfortunate.
So that's where we are, guys. And that's, in my opinion, like I said, both parties are to blame for this. And the reason why I say that is because Al Heyman should have told Steven Espinosa, this isn't going to work. His demands are unrealistic, and there's no way in hell he wants us to go and give someone else the broadcast rights. And who knows who he's going to sell that licensing fee to. Now, keep in mind, guys.
Joseph, that would have been a nightmare.
Exactly. Just like BLK Prime show is going to be an absolute clusterfuck and a nightmare. I just found out, though, that the organizer of the event is going to be a club promoter, California attorney Steve Bash.
Oh, the music should be good then.
Bash boxing. Bash boxing.
Ring girls are sorted.
So guys, this is going to be, and once again, I know several people who were going to be involved and try to help out BLK Prime, and now they're stepping away from it, and they've told me, oh boy, best of luck to these guys. This is going to be a real shit show, guys.
Yeah, Joseph,
if it doesn't get canceled, that's what I'm looking at.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt it if they push this back.
Hey,
the Twitter canceled his fight.
Twitter views and the promo, 353 people.
Obviously,
right?
Did you watch it? It was a parody.
Yeah,
and
they
then
showed
playing
Crawford
chess by himself. What's he doing?
Yeah, he thinks he's playing. Yeah, he thinks he made a chess.
The kingpin.
Right.
And Joseph,
yes, sir.
If Crawford would have took the deal where there was no guarantee and they would have split everything, then that only hurts the card, right? Because they're not gonna use that site fee to try and at least stack the undercard and maybe a couple of other fights.
Here's what was ridiculous about this. And once again, I understand, and it's not unreasonable that he wants transparency. But Did you hear what Errol Spence Jr. was saying last night?
Yeah, that's exactly. He blew that out of the water. And guess what? Crawford had no response to that.
No, he was like, "Wait a minute, you want us to wait for you to sign off on all expenses when you've never even organized a club show before." Now, once again, guys, this is the importance when you're doing something of this nature, to hire competent and experienced. And that's the huge part of it. That's a main word, experienced representation.
Yep.
And once again, if they were the quality team that he claims he put together, why the hell would you have to contact Al Heyman directly? Why would you feel the need to contact Errol Spence directly? Okay, that just blows your representation. Ruins their credibility.
He doesn't understand the chain.
He doesn't understand this business. And once again, he's trying to talk like he's a big, badass, independent businessman. Oh, I'm the one at the table sitting with these high individuals. Crawford, brother, damn, man. And so this was a cluster bleep to begin with. And Al Heyman should have said, you know what? We can't work with this guy. I'm sorry, Stephen. We're going to have to quit. This is going to be a complete and colossal waste of time. We're going to have to just throw this in the trash. We're not going to be able to make this deal with this guy.
I walked away with so many more questions when I saw that video.
Well, hold on, HLD. I tell you what, go ahead and rant and say what you want, because I'm going to have to step away for a second.
Absolutely.
I will be back. So as you were, HLD, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, guys. I mean, as I saw that video, I don't have to throw in my own. It's just looking at what he said, it doesn't make sense. One first thing is he said he all along had these two hedge funds in his back pocket.
Hmm.
So then he doesn't present this to Al Heyman till he gets a contract in August. So at that
Bargaining.
point, right there in itself, that's going into a negotiations in bad faith,
Hmm.
using it as leverage.
Well, he's entitled. He's entitled to do that as on a
No, no,
business.
you're not
On a
entitled to do
business.
bad. No, you're not entitled to
That's not
do.
bad business. That's not bad business. That's
That's that
not in
that
his
that
respect.
that's that. No, that's illegal.
No, it's
That's what
not.
that is. Yes, it is.
No, no, it's not.
Well, I don't know where you're from, but I know it is here.
Well, no, it's not. Not
It
in
is
finance. Not in business. That's not
It's
illegal.
bad. It's bad faith negotiations.
He hadn't signed a contract. He was purely in negotiations. In negotiations,
Exactly. Well,
he's allowed.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Is bad
He's allowed to have
bad
his
faith
own negotiation tool.
negotiations. Is
He's
bad
allowed
faith
to have his own
negotiations.
negotiation tools. If
No,
he has something in his pocket, he's not obliged to tell the side he's doing business with what he
he's
has on
not
the other side.
obliged. That's the point. You're going into negotiations to use something as leverage later.
No, that is his leverage. You don't
Well,
look. You
that's
don't.
bad, my man. That's bad faith negotiations. Look up the rule of the law. I don't know where you're from, but I can tell you it is here.
Mate, I work in finance.
Well, it
I
is
deal with this
here.
all day long.
It's
Listen, it's
bad
not.
faith It's bad faith
The bad faith is
negotiations.
not a law. Okay, it is just that the
You
other
could get
side turns
sued
around
for
and says,
that.
"How?" No, they can't. You're talking about when business is done. This is negotiations.
No, I
Nothing's been
just said it.
signed,
Bad faith negotiations. I said bad faith contract.
mate. In negotiation, nothing is solid or concrete. There's no suing anybody for verbal contracts when nothing's been signed. Like if he's going in to see a negotiation, he's at his will to walk in and see what Showtime are going to put on the table without putting all of his cards on the table first. It makes perfect sense. It's not bad business. It's smart business because then he says, if that's what you're offering me, I've got another offer from here. Why do you think that they were putting the offer up?
So why
Why do
not
you
bring
think
that
he
up from
came
the
down to
get? Why didn't
15?
he bring that up from the get? Yo, man, I got this much going on. How much are you guys gonna offer me?
Why would he doesn't have to bring it up
Instead of
from the get go?
dicking
It's
around for
not his
6 months,
position. It's not his position.
going for 6 months from what? From May to August, 4 months
It's
on
not his
bullshit.
position to walk into a negotiation with the side that's going to be holding the business to tell them what he's got. They need to tell him what they're offering. They're the one offering him. He waits to hear the offer.
He's the one
He
who
can
knocked on their
counter offer.
door.
No, he's not the one that knocked on their door.
Yo,
They're
he's
the
the
one.
man who used the 7-Eleven guy. You just don't
Listen,
understand what's going on.
they
The
they
man had
know.
used the 7-Eleven guy who was the middleman. That he at the end then said, oh, "I don't know this guy." We
Listen,
all know who that guy is, but
this
he
fight's been
didn't want to
talked
name
about
him.
for a long time. I don't know. Like why you're getting caught up on this. It is like Showtime, PBC are the ones running the whole entire negotiation. Crawford comes to their table. They show him or give him their first offer of how they're
Yep,
going to make this fight.
that's
If he
it.
has another offer, he doesn't have to walk in and divulge that before conversations start.
Yo,
When they give
Joseph,
the
No, no,
offer,
no,
it's
no.
to him.
That's absolutely right. So once again, for Heyman saying, you know what, I need a mediator, and I need to hire a mediator, and Terrence Crawford, rather than recognizing that this is a mediator to try and be a go-between between both parties, okay, rather than recognizing that, he says, "Oh, some guy I never heard of," and you know what? And Al Heyman appointed him, so he's going to do what's best for Al Heyman. So I didn't even know him, so I didn't even listen to him. I contacted Al directly. Once again, this is the inexperience of Terrence Crawford and basically kiboshing this deal from the start.
but Joseph, why didn't he name the 7-Eleven guy, who's the guy that was supposedly representing him throughout this bullshit? You see how they kept that name quiet?
Wait a minute, what 7-Eleven guy? I don't understand what you're saying.
The guy that he met at 7-Eleven to then introduce him through the Al Heyman side.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
you're talking about the hedge fund
The
guy.
YouTuber.
No, I'm
the
talking about the
YouTuber.
YouTube guy.
I'm out in left field. Look, and this is
Somehow
the
everybody
problem,
forgot
guys.
about that dude.
This
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying.
Okay, this is
That's
the
weird.
problem, and we've been telling you guys, and we've been consistent. Okay, we've been consistent this entire time saying that it's Terrence Crawford's inexperience that's going to kibosh this deal. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And
Hey,
this is
Joseph,
going to be a real problem.
Joseph, do you remember that Chuck Simpson? I don't know if you saw that on the video where Devin Haney was in the locker room and all that stuff.
I don't remember any of that, man.
That was for the that was on the night the card of
Farmer
the
fiasco.
Yeah,
that was some.
Oh,
BS.
geez, are you serious?
So
Mickey
the guy
Bay
that was
Farmer.
in that locker room was the guy who bumped into supposedly Crawford at a 7-Eleven.
Look, guys. And look, and if you're in this business long enough, boy, you're able to sniff out that shit. And unfortunately, Terrence Crawford isn't able to sniff out the right from the wrong, the legit from the bogus, the used car salesman from the legit businessmen who have been in this business for a very long time. And once again, this is a guy who beats his chest saying that I'm the one at the table. Well, you know what? Maybe that was the problem, Terrence. Maybe you shouldn't have been.
Let me ask you something, guys. Hey, my man, you said you're in finance. So then you tell me, you got a hedge fund company, probably worth a few $1 billion, right?
For sure.
And they want to invest $50 million with Al Heyman, which they said they know Al Heyman, but they're gonna send Terrence Crawford to do the presentation to sell it to Al Heyman instead of them calling Al Heyman themselves.
Well, and once again, Al's not interested.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm just saying that. Would that even make sense?
Well, hold on, absolutely not. Why would you want Terrence Crawford represented? Like Top Rank didn't do that. Oy vey, this guy.
Well, what happened to the managers who sent Ted to do that?
So you're listen. This is what happens though, right? And Al Heyman's not about to do this to Steven Espinosa and Showtime because they've been very good to him, and they're continuously very good to him, and they fund his entire operation. So what happened, and this is why you're seeing more and more dates with DAZN go to Goldie, and they're being pulled from Matchroom, because this is exactly what Eddie Hearn did to DAZN. This exact scenario. He actually sold the broadcast rights to the Saudis for Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk too. That was supposed to be DAZN's big coming out party in the UK, their first pay-per-view in the UK.
Oh.
And what happens? They sell to the highest bidder, which is their competitor, Sky Sports. So DAZN's like, Eddie, what the hell did you just do? Do we have to remind you that we're funding your entire operation on DAZN? All these little bitch events that you give us, and then the big one, you turn around and give it to the Saudis? You better come up with something, an alternative, a feasible alternative on our UK pay-per-view, or we're going to be pissed. Why do you think he scrambled and put together so quickly Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr.? He did that in 5 weeks, and what happened?
Damn, Eddie's in a hot seat, isn't he?
That's right. That's why you're seeing Golden Boy. Hey, we love DAZN. We're not going to. We have to involve DAZN if we're going to have Ryan Garcia compete with Gervonta Davis.
Okay,
but
I mean, in all in fairness, that's the way. I mean, it's like asking Bob Arum to go somewhere else for one of his top guys. And it doesn't make sense.
That's why I brought up Pacquiao versus Crawford. That's what kiboshed the deal. Okay, as soon as Bob Arum found out that these investors from Abu Dhabi, UAE, wanted to also have the broadcast rights for that $40 million lump sum, he said, no way in hell, I'm not going to do that to my broadcast partners, ESPN, because they bankroll our entire operation. They give us all these TV dates. I'm not going to do that to them. They have to be involved, and that's what broke up the deal. Al Heyman's not going to do that to Steven Espinosa and Showtime. That's just how it is. And we see what happens when Matchroom, a promoter, does that, bites the hand that feeds them, so to speak. And Terrence Crawford, the individual sitting with these high individuals, right? That's what he didn't understand. His representation didn't even tell him this. And Al Heyman's like, no, dude, no. I'm sorry. No one's touching this fight but Showtime.
The two things that just when it gets just down to the point that Crawford was saying that came out was that he got the contract in August. In September, it was reported that Al Heyman was seriously questioning and vetting Crawford for being involved still with Canahan. Because with the two hedge funds, once he brought that up.
They want, exactly. Al, and I'm sure Al's like, you know what? This had better not be Kinahan. And so he wanted to make exactly sure that it wasn't. And let me just tell you from people I know, guys, Daniel Kinahan is no longer in the boxing business. I found that out several weeks ago. He is completely gone. He has no involvement with the boxing business at all. Right? I can tell you that with great certainty just from several people that I trust that used to deal with Daniel Kinahan. Right?
There's still backdoors ways of selling contracts out to a third party and the third party to another party and still get the back end money, looping it around.
Yeah, but
so
you know what? That's a non-issue. I know it was reported that was a big issue, but no. Trust me when I tell you this, guys. The biggest issue concerning this fight, were two things. And as soon as Crawford said no go, they should have said, okay, then we're not doing any business with you. And it was not giving options to Showtime and Al Heyman. Okay, that was the first one. Second, coming into this, already having an independent offer on the table and demanding $22 million. Trying to use that as leverage. They're like, you know what? Fuck this guy, they should have said. Go kick rocks, Terrence. Hey, best of luck, brother. But keep in mind, you're not worth $25 million without this guy, Errol Spence Jr. Good luck trying to get that kind of guaranteed purse without him. That's what they should have told him. Okay. Instead, once again, and now Al Heyman's being painted as the bad guy.
And the things that this man was saying, Crawford, that always was, the thing that killed this fight is the transparency, right? And so when Spence, really look about the transparency, telling him that, Crawford wanted to know if revenues from the fight would be placed into mutual agreeable account and only be released upon all parties' agreement. My team said yes. And guess what was Crawford's response to that? Cricket.
What? Yep, cricket. That's it. So listen to this. So our brother James, and thank you for hanging with us, Boxing Source. We appreciate it, JR. He says, this is after. Okay, now when we were talking about the Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk 2 mess, he said, and this is after DAZN was supposed to have Joshua and had already signed him to a long-term deal. And then Matchroom Sports gives them the big one-gun salute. Not a good look. Okay, he's biting the hand that feeds him. So now you're seeing Oscar De La Hoya all smiles, aren't you?
Oh, he smells blood in the water.
That's it. Oh, hey, you know what? Hey, we've got some great prospects. We've got over 85 prospects in our stable. They're going to be big stars on DAZN. Guys, don't be surprised either. Okay? Don't be surprised if Al Heyman starts working with DAZN as well in 2023. Well, and I'm telling you this first. Okay, so here it is.
The more fights we get, the better. Let's do this. Cross network.
Wait a minute. Wait, you're on the panel, Hyphy. So, hey, man, speak up if you want to say anything. You don't have to make comments in the chat, brother. And Joseph Brown has the beat here, right? He says, this is why DAZN was so upset with him. Yes, that's exactly why. And when this entire Conor Benn fiasco then kiboshes that pay-per-view, how do you think that makes Eddie Hearn look right now? Yeah. Joseph Brown says this. Joseph, you're hurting a lot of Crawford's fans' feelings. Well, brother, look, facts don't give a shit about feelings. Okay?
And fans care about feelings.
Facts don't give a shit about your feelings. That's it. Hold on. Louis Travis says, why the F are we still talking about these two clowns? Look, and as I stated from the outset of the show, and thank you for joining us, Louis.
Well said, Louis.
Like I stated, I said this is the very last show that we're ever going to discuss this, ever. So we want to make very clear that everyone understands what happened, right?
Are we going to sing Boys to Men at the end of this?
Let's go, mate. Love a bit of Boys to Men, man. I'll say it's a little bit of end of the road. Let's go.
To yesterday.
Can I ask?
And there it is. Hey guys, instead of pouring out some liquor on a grave, I'm going to put it down the hatch, guys. And if anyone's indulging with me, please do a shot with me. Anyone in the chat, anyone in the panel, here's some sweet amber. Let's say goodbye to Crawford Spence. God bless everyone. And let's look forward to Spence versus Stanionis and Crawford versus Avanesian. Hallelujah.
Boo.
Here's to you guys.
He's a cheeky one, isn't he, old Joseph? He's a cheeky one. He's a cheeky one, isn't he? He had to put that at the end and just now we're all pissed off again.
Oh, come on. I'm the bearer of good news tonight.
Yeah. But,
look, that's a good thing, guys. Okay, before we move forward, I do have to give a shout out, right, to a couple of dear friends in the chat. And one, here it is. Hold on. Here he is. My brother Ryan Singleton, my dear friend Ryan. I've known him for several decades. We went to college together. Thank you for joining us, Ryan. I love you, brother. He said, Joseph.
Stories.
Oh gosh, you know what? He has way too many, and don't ask him to say anything.
No, we've got him now.
No. Seriously, Ryan is one of my best, most dear friends in life, and he was actually one of the groomsmen at my first wedding, and I emphasize first. Right. So he says, Joseph, I appreciate your understanding of the boxing business, your willingness to explain it to the audience. Great insight given fans inclination to blame the fighters. Well, it's hard to fault Errol Spence Jr., who did everything he was supposed to. Right?
Let the people in charge do what they got to do.
That's it. And want to give a big shout out to my brother John McSmith, Sweet Amber, folks. Yep. Also want to give a shout out to my brother Champ Ross. Thank you for joining us, sir. Also want to give a shout out to my brother El Pinche Punch. What you say? Oh, it sounds like. Oh, are you actually are you citing Ray Charles? Hit the road, Jack. What you say? Yep, absolutely love it. Hold on. Boxing Source says Oscar De La Fishnets. I tell you what, man. He was out just throwing daggers at Al Heyman, burying Al Heyman on Twitter, wasn't he?
But that was at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning Abu Dhabi time.
You know he's out there on that Abu Dhabi.
I was waiting for that live stream, and then I'm like, man, what time is it over there? When he said it? And I looked at it, I'm like, heck, no wonder this is.
Wait, you're on the West Coast, aren't you? Or no, you're on the East Coast, aren't you, HLD?
Yeah.
Okay, they're 8 hours ahead of you, my friend.
Oh, so there you go. I'm like,
so guys, anyone who wants to just tune into the main event on DAZN this Saturday, guys, expect start time to be at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central, 1:30 Pacific. So guys, let's put this baby to bed. Let's shift gears. Hold on. Want to give a shout out to my brother RR1000. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you for always supporting WAWR Week Radio. And Peter Von Arx, how astute of you to catch this. He says, wait a minute. Spence is fighting Stanionis? That's not what's being reported. That's absolutely right, guys. Look.
Once again, proving how much of a G he is.
No, look, guys. And once again, unless Steven Espinosa, unless he thinks that the overpriced Keith Thurman is going to bring bigger dollars and more views on pay-per-view, okay, and his last pay-per-view should give you an idea that he doesn't at this time at this juncture of his career. Guys, Stanionis, he's already taken step-aside money twice. He was their reserve the entire time. Mm-hmm. He was slated to be, if Crawford Spence actually went through, and if it was actually fulfilled, and the event went through, he was slated to be in the co-main event taking on Gabriel Maestre. He was the reserve, just like Yordenis Ugas was the reserve for Spence Pacquiao in case one fighter got injured, and we all saw what happened. So Stanionis has been the backup the entire time. So, guys, what you're going to get is Spence, Stanionis, and obviously you're getting Crawford, Avanesian. So I hope that clears everything up, guys.
You know Espinosa's phone's going to be ringing this week with Mauricio Sullivan's name on it. He's going, go on, the WBC. Go on, Stephen. He's going to be trying hard for that.
No. Listen, because it doesn't matter.
I know, but it's the WBC showcase in Acapulco. He loves to announce shit there. You know it.
Well, that he already purported he was going to announce Thurman as a mandatory, but who knows?
Look, And he already did, but it doesn't matter. Look,
No.
Spence is going to be defending all 3 titles. So Mauricio,
Yeah.
hey, brother, chill out. You're going to get paid anyway. Okay? You're going to get that 3% from both fighters' purses. Okay? Hallelujah.
Yeah, but he
Reason to
wanted
celebrate.
3% of
Don't
the
worry.
22 million.
But I
that
believe
Crawford was
he
asking for,
thinks
Joseph.
that the purse with Thurman would be bigger than with Stanionis.
Yeah, that's what he wants. That's why he
Of
wanted
course
the
he would.
Crawford
Of
purse.
course he would. But it's not going to do any better, guys. When you look at, and once again, guys, I get the real numbers. When you look at Keith Thurman versus Mario Varrios on Fox pay-per-view, how
Dude.
well did it do?
Well, I think by himself he's not going to do, but I think he can help sell this fight with Spence. I don't know how much more than what it would be, but I know he would sell the fight as a package. So, 2 guys here,
once again,
partners.
maybe 5 years ago, sure. But Keith, once upon a time, Thurman is a non-factor these days. Once again, that's the reason why he's been so inactive. He's a guy with an inflated sense of worth who isn't where his market value is depleted over the past half decade. Okay, so now you look at his last numbers, and if he's such a great salesman, how come they only did 29,000 pay-per-views sold domestically?
That's
He's looking for a Porter payday type of thing.
If he's that good of a salesman, how come you couldn't get anyone? You couldn't convince anyone to purchase your fight, brother.
Is that fight gonna be higher than what we're gonna see on December 10th, though?
No.
Oh, dude, look, guys, look.
He was playing chess by himself.
Look, when you consider fan backlash and you consider the outreach of BLK Prime, which is minimal, guys, this is going to rival Clarissa Shields' pay-per-view numbers.
The 5,000.
Guys, honestly, you may see a better figure from Triller and Frank Gore on December 3rd.
No, they'll lie anyway. They'll lie. They have to.
I don't
Joseph can't. I don't know if you have information, but whoever's funding BLK on this thing are they the same people of the 2 hedge funds that this man was talking about, or they're separate in itself from those 2 hedge funds?
I have no idea.
It might be private investors.
I have no idea who the private investors of these 2 hedge funds who are familiar with Al Heyman, but kept quiet this entire time and never once reached out to him. Right? I have no idea who these guys are, so I can't tell you intelligently.
And okay? have they already attained the Nebraska Athletic Commission to sanction it?
Yeah, they have. Look, and now once again they had to get
Bash Boxing, right?
Regional promoter, club promoter Steve Bash, and once again he's a very smart guy, good attorney, but he's never organized an event of this nature. Never. But he's a smart guy, good, experienced, very smart, good attorney.
I've heard
good promoter.
You're not the only person who said that.
Well, and once again, he's the only bright spot of this promotion, right? He's a competent guy, but he's never put together and promoted an event of this nature. Okay, never. He's a club promoter, right? He's a club promoter.
Are you going to be covering that fight? You bought your tickets yet, Joseph?
You know what, brother? I need to keep my anti-Terrence Crawford words to a minimum because I'm trying to get the commentary gig on December 10th.
Okay.
Fucked it already, Joseph.
No. Look, I'm not counting on it, brother. I'm not counting on it because, dude.
You said Diatribe. That's it. It's over for you.
Yeah, it's over for me, brother. Yeah. Look. I really.
You've done a poorly managed analogy, but you've done it even better.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Before you even have one event.
Yeah.
He says too many truths.
Didn't I?
Yeah. He speaks too much truth. Get him out.
We don't have an undercard yet either, right? So.
No, and hell no. And once again, two guys who I know are very competent matchmakers that were asked, and they're going to remain nameless, who were asked to help put together a good undercard. They said, well, what is the budget we're looking at? They saw it and they quickly bailed, and they're like, who's the lead promoter on this event? At the time, they didn't even have a lead promoter. So they're like, thanks, but no thanks. So that's a big quandary. I have, and these are two guys that I respect and I've known for a while and I trust. Okay. So that's how stable this is. And I'm sorry, November 3rd, that's, we're talking about 5 weeks.
And listen,
5 weeks, guys.
I have a countdown. I have a countdown on my thing. I think it's down to like 36. I put it down, making the joy. I got it.
Well, you would probably be the only one, right?
Yeah, because I put out there. I put out there, man. I got $10. This fight ain't gonna happen.
Well, I tell you what. Let's shift gears, guys, and we're gonna start talking about this weekend's events. And I have a special message from someone, care of our very dear friend Young Bill, and he's got something to tell all of you guys who are going to be supporting this event on Showtime.
What's up, guys? David Moro Jr. Like, I have it for the fight. I'm excited for the moment. I'm good. I'm ready.
And there it is. He just wants to let you guys know that he's ready for action this Saturday night from Minneapolis, the Armory in Minnesota. Showtime Sports. It's going to be David Morrell Jr. taking on the undefeated Aidos Yerbasinelli. Right?
Respect to him taking on the number one.
You know what? And once again, these are a battle of undefeateds. And if you guys listen to Ronnie's show, which is still up on the channel, guys, if you guys listen to Ronnie's show on Tuesday, he said, you know what? After this, okay, if David, if he gets past this assignment and looks good doing it, guys, the leash is off. We want all the smoke at 68. That's it. We want Benavidez. We want Plant. We want Canelo. We want everybody. Okay, hallelujah. And let me tell you, that's it. So what do you expect to see in this co-main event? Do you see any stylistic problems from the very confident? And I don't know if you guys watched the press conference today, but he seems very confident. He doesn't just seem happy to be here.
No.
Okay, he's
number one. He's ready to go.
Yep.
Like, this isn't a joke. Like, this is the thing. Like, people need to pay more attention to the other guys in the divisions.
That's it.
No one mentions, Morrell's name enough when they're talking about these divisions. Yeah, but he's fighting the number one mandatory in his division. He's doing what the others aren't doing. This guy can fight. He's a strong fighter.
Yep.
Like, this is not going to be an easy fight. I mean, Ronnie said it himself the other night. This is a great fight. I'm hoping it's Aidos, to be fair, because we need the win for Ronnie. But it's gonna get difficult in there in some moments for Morrell, or we're gonna see Morrell go up levels that we haven't seen before, and that's only gonna make the future even more interesting. I'm telling you, it's a great fight.
Guys, this is gonna be an amazing weekend of boxing. Once again, during the day, we've got the card from the Middle East, Dimitri Bivol, and we're gonna talk all about that, break that apart, talk about the odds. And in the evening, we've got a great card. We see the return of J-Rock. We see the return of the Matrix, Andre Durrell. We also see the return of Banana, Asen Rosario. And we see the return of Nathaniel Gallimore. This is going to be a tremendous card on Showtime, right? This is going to be a great evening of fights. And Joseph Brown says, I'm going to that fight too, Joseph. Excellent, brother. You have a great time, brother.
Fantastic.
You soak it all in. Time. You know what? This is, and that venue is made for boxing. There's not a bad seat in the house, and it's a very raucous, ambient crowd. We love it. And I tell you what, we get some insight from my brother Peter Von Arx. He says, I watch a couple of your Basinoli's fights. He's good. He's got stamina, and he can box. His amateur record is, I think, one. Gosh, let me think. I think it was 135-2 in the amateurs. He only lost 2 amateur fights in international competition. This is a good fighter.
Morrell's doing things other people aren't doing right now. Like, it's a name that nobody's aware of, but this is a guy that will cause a lot of people problems.
Yep.
Like, he's no bum. He's no journeyman. Like, he's worked his way up to be number one in that division for a shot at the champions. And Morrell's taking him on.
My best thing that I heard from everything that Joseph just said is I didn't hear pay-per-view.
Yes!
You know?
I hear you, man. I hear you.
So
I hear you.
once again, Steven Espinosa is funding this entire event. And look, Al Heyman's no dummy. At 67 years of age, well, he's been through it all, and he's no dummy. He's not going to bite the hand that feeds him, right? So, yeah, this is why, guys, and we're going to see this on Saturday night. This is a great card, and let me tell you, when you look at, okay, I'm going to explain that after this. If you look at mutual opposition, okay, they both fought, Eidos as well as David. They fought Lennox Allen. Lennox Allen actually took David Morrell Jr. the distance, okay? And that's how he won the WBA interim or regular super middleweight title. Took him the distance, and he won a wide 12-round decision. Now, Eidos Yerbasanoli, he actually knocked him out in the 11th round, okay? Same guy. So this is what we're going to see on Saturday night, guys. In the main event of the evening, Dave Morrell Jr. taking on Eidos Yerbasanoli for the WBA regular super middleweight championship. And then in the co-main event, you've got undefeated Fyodor Shurkishin versus Nathaniel Gallimore, right? Fyodor is 20-0. Okay, this is going to be in your 10-round co-main event of the evening. Then it's going to be Hasten Banana Rosario versus Brian Mendoza. Unfortunately, guys, we're not going to be seeing Yoelvis Gomez. He had a hand injury, and he was forced to back out, so now it's Brian Mendoza, right, who's a tough guy. Also, we get the return, and this is the sleeper fight of the evening, guys. I love this matchup. Andre the Matrix Durrell versus Yaneski Gonzalez.
Oh, that's going to be a war.
Gonzalez. And if you look at the handicappers, guys, this is an even money fight. In my opinion, this is the sleeper fight of the night. And then we've got, starting everything off, right, in the prelims, J-Rock, the return of Julian Williams, was just added to this card against Rolando Mancia.
Wow.
So that's going to be your card, guys, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Armory. This is going to be a tremendous event, guys.
Who said they were going? They're going to have a great night. That's going to be bangers from start to finish.
Yep. Joseph, I hope you enjoy it, my friend. Have fun, soak it all in. And I tell you what, tell Coach Ronnie that everyone on WAWR Week Radio, we love him and we say hi, okay? Go tell Coach Ronnie that, my friend. I tell you what, go, guys. Let's shift gears to the big one. And, guys, this is a great fight and a big one. For the landscape of 175, Dimitri Bivol defends his WBA 175-pound championship against number one mandatory challenger Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Tell you what, let's just start. Let's go by clockwise this time. Frank?
Yeah.
Do you love this fight, sir?
Yeah. I think it's some these fights should really be happening more often, and we feel lucky we're getting it, which we shouldn't feel lucky, but at least we're getting it. But yeah, I like Bivol. I think Bivol's the better boxer, but I want Zurdo to win, if that makes sense. My mind says
no.
Bivol.
No. It's all right. You're a homer, man. Puro Mexicano, brother. Yes. Look, I get it, man. And honestly, I love it when fans get behind a specific fighter, because the fights are more meaningful when you have a dog in the hunt, so to speak, right? And you know what? It's been a very long time. Like, I will say this: the fight between Morrell and Eidos Yerbasanoli, right, is going to be very meaningful to me, because it's my brother Ronnie is the chief second for David. I've got an emotional invested interest. And so, yeah, the last time, and I'll give you a quick story, guys. Last time I had an emotionally invested interest in a fight was when my brother Javen Sugar Hill Stewart, right, was preparing Tyson Fury for the third Deontay Wilder fight. And, yeah, it was so much more exciting when I was kind of, slightly, and once again, I have to remain objective when I look at all these fights. But inside, boy, I was really pulling for Tyson and my brother Javen specifically. And it makes the fight so much more exciting and so much more meaningful when you actually have someone to root for, right? And so, guys, I urge all of you, if you've got money to burn, put some green on the line, because it makes the fights that much more meaningful when there's something on the line, either your emotional investment or your financial investment, right?
Right.
I mean, Sean, am I wrong about that, sir?
You're 100% right, as always, Joseph.
Oh, my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. So with that said, guys, the betting line for Dimitri Bivol versus Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Okay, and this is I think because of how proficient Dimitri Bivol is at controlling range and being the most, statistically, right, the most defensively responsible fighter in boxing. The line right now, according to the BetMGM, is at a minus 500 for Dimitri Bivol, with Gilberto Ramirez at a plus 400. HLD, do you agree with that line, or do you think this may be prime time for an upset?
I totally agree with the line, and it's all because of Bivol. This guy is so underrated.
Yep.
And he is totally. This is the statistic that I was just reading on Bivol. The man has outlanded everyone in each of his last 37 rounds.
Yep.
And has outlanded 75 out of his total 76 rounds completely. And he is rated number 1 in defense efficiency, above Shakur Stevens. He's the number 1 guy.
Yep. Statistically, he's the best, most responsible defensive fighter in boxing.
And the way he fights, you don't even think of that.
But
and
when
I'm
you
like,
look
wow.
at this, like, did you see the press conference today? Did you see them side by side?
Oh, I did.
What's crazy is, man, Gilberto Ramirez is a big son bitch, man. This is a big dude.
Hey.
And he fights in an aggressive style. He cuts off the ring extremely well. He throws a ton of punches. It's going to be very interesting to see if he's going to be successful, if he can be successful in cutting off the ring, closing the distance, and putting some hard leather on Dimitri Bivol. It's going to be really interesting to see if that happens. Most critics, and if you listen to James Gogi this past Sunday, what were his comments, Frank? Did you remember that? Do you remember what he said?
I believe he thinks Zurdo don't have a chance.
No, he says Bivol's going to whoop his ass.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But guys, once again, this is the theater of the unexpected. This is a big fight.
Yep.
And anything can and often does happen in the squared circle. And guys, let's just face it, that's why we watch.
Right, you
Could be
have the
fight
fight.
of the
The fight is made
You
in
know-
the ring.
You know the thing, Bivol's a boxer, but he's not a runner. He's not a back foot defensive first type of guy. He opens up, and I think the key for me is that Zurdo will force Bivol to open up. Like when I watch Canelo Bivol, that's not the real Bivol. I'm sorry, I just have to say that. You can't tell. You can't tell me Bivol
you're
was
right on the money, brother. You're right on the money. You're right on the money.
I mean, you can't tell me. I've seen Bivol just unload on dudes, much bigger, much stronger, and I don't know. I don't want to say it what Bivol was doing, but
no. Look. He was an absolute bully in the ring against Canelo, and that's why it took people like it really took them aback. People who were actually like predicting a knockout from Canelo, and I remember telling everyone this before the fight, guys, Bivol's going to win this. This is a terrible style matchup. This is a terrible style matchup for Canelo. And Bivol being the naturally bigger guy, there's no way. I can't see him winning this fight. In my opinion, the size may be a problem for Bivol. And plus the volume punching, the durability, the ability to cut off the ring and close the distance proficiently. This may be a problem for Bivol in the back half of the fight.
I think, in my opinion, the Bivol, the rooting for Bivol, I think people are basing on Canelo fight, but I'm telling, throw that fight out the window. Do not look at that fight. And do not use that as your measuring stick for Bivol and Canelo. I mean, for Zurdo.
You know what the measuring stick I'm using is how Ramirez went life and death with that old man in the last fight. That's my measuring stick.
I tell you what, Hyphy, you've been silent this entire time, brother. What are your thoughts on this brilliant matchup this Saturday afternoon, brother?
All right, well, I hope you don't mind me going off the radar a little bit, but on this same card, because this is a good card, we got to give respect to the whole card. You got.
Oh, I'm getting ready to announce it, brother.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well,
no, go ahead, shoot, man.
Yeah, I mean this Chantel Cameron versus McCaskill fight. I mean, this is the undisputed, 140 fight. This is I mean, I'm more excited for this fight, honestly. Just me personally.
Well, hey, I'll let you cook, man, because honestly, I don't, and this is just personal preference. I don't comment really on female fights, and HLD knows that to his dismay.
It doesn't go well for Joseph when he
no.
It's it's an inferior product.
Well, hey, guys, and once again, going into a female fight, I don't like to dissuade and trust me, I look, if you guys are excited for that fight, then I'm excited for you. And that's a great thing. Far be it from me to try and dissuade anyone from watching their favorite fighters compete in the ring. Okay, so I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm not going to say anything positive. I'm just going to stay neutral, right?
So you're being politically correct, and I appreciate it.
Oh, you know what, dude? Well, enjoy it while it lasts, brother. So, yeah, in the undercard, you've got Chantel Cameron, who is 16-0, taking on Jessica McCaskill, the champ, the lineal champ at super lightweight. And that's, it's going to be for all the marbles, the ring, the IBF, the IBO, the WBA, the WBC, and the WBO. So everything is on the line here from the very rugged and volume punching, tough Jessica McCaskill. So guys, I don't have any expertise talking about this because, well, I just don't. So what are we to expect, Hyphy, from this matchup?
All right, well, you want to have Chantel Cameron. I feel like she's a real good fighter. It's just that, she's had like a couple of, let's say like promoter issues and, managerial issues and stuff, but she's really looking for and it's just similar to Zurdo. She's looking for that one big fight to really break her through. And then you got McCaskill. She's so confident and cocky, she think that she the best woman in the world, but she is a real good fighter. So she coming to basically take the shine away from, the Katie Taylors and the Clarissas that's been getting all the praise. She want to show the world that she's the best woman. And, on top of that, it's undisputed. So they both going to really come with it, all the belts on the line, they both going to come with it. Like I said, I'm a little bit more excited for this fight than even the main event.
Who do you got?
Well, I tell you what, I hope you enjoy it, brother. And so, give your prediction, my friend.
I'm gonna go with Chantel Cameron.
Wow, for the upset. I love it. Very good.
I'm gonna root for you too. For the one reason is because her McCaskill's manager, he's slick. He don't want to promote the 3-round fights and shit. He wants to keep it at 2 because it benefits his fighter. So that's Ramos is McCaskill's trainer or husband, whatever.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Chantel too, man. I want to get her out of here. And I'm not impressed. I saw her boxing. I'm not impressed by her boxing. She's
a clubber. She's a clubber.
Yeah.
Right? She's a clubber, and that's she wants to maul you and just overwhelm you with volume, right? Yeah. As club like as it looks, boy, she's gonna try to put the lay the wood to you, so to speak. Guys, I'll tell you who I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the return of Galal Yafai on that card. That guy's an amazing talent, and I can't wait to see him start stepping up in competition. But he's an amazing talent. Looking forward to seeing him back in the ring. Also looking forward to seeing Rakhimov versus Zelfa Barrett for the vacant IBF super featherweight title at 130 pounds. Is Rakhimov going to finally be able to come through and do it? Because he's fallen short every other time he's fought for that title. I tell you what, though,
Cordina gets the winner, though, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. As soon as he gets healthy, he's the emeritus status, right? Yeah. I tell you what, Cordina's a bad motherfucker, man. Pardon my French.
He is.
You know what? But what do you think of the ceiling of Yafai, Sean?
I'm not sure at this moment. Like you said, like really, really happy to be able to see him again because he's great to watch. It's just one of those, right? You know, where you see him on these cards. You know, at this moment in time, like he's not gonna be in there with anyone that's gonna cause him too many problems. But you know, with the ceiling wise, I mean, if he keeps progressing the way that he is with the style that he has, he's going to be very entertaining once he starts moving up the ranks. It's going to cause people some problems. I'm not so sure. I just want to see how he's developing, you know. But
tell you
great
what,
to
man,
watch. So exciting.
you know what? I eventually anticipate a showdown between Yafai and Bam Rodriguez. I can't wait to see that eventually. That is a tremendous matchup, guys, and I'm already licking my chops, man, just to see that. But I will say this, brother. Okay, and I was going to say this, but I can't even do it with a straight face. Guys, Sean's favorite fight on this card is going to be the return of Campbell Hatton, brother, against the dreaded TBA. How do you like that? Woo-woo!
Campbell Hatton, eh?
Yeah, we're jumping up.
Yeah. Taking on all comers, isn't he? Old Campbell, old Soup Cam. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Sorry, I couldn't even say that with a straight face, dude. Campbell, poor kid, man. He's learning on the job, and he's already being thrust on TV.
Of course.
That's just not right. He's the UK's equivalent to Nico Ollie Walsh, guys.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, but hey, you have to give the legend Ali Nico Walsh a little bit more credit. I think he's better than that. The legend Ali Nico Walsh.
Did you see him do the shuffle?
Oh,
geez. You do the shuffle.
You know what? God bless him, dude. And you know what? God bless him. And he's a smart kid, and he's doing great for himself. But that just makes me cringe every time I see it, man.
Well, what makes it cringe is what Top Rank is doing with that, all that over the top, you know, legendary crap and all that stuff.
For some reason, it starts so late.
Look, let's just be honest. He's their next Butterbean.
Oh.
He's their next Butterbean, guys.
Oh, that's a statement, Joseph.
No, I'm being serious. He's their next Butterbean. He gets more mainstream ink than most of these talented badasses in the Top Rank stable.
And he does.
And he's going to be on the undercard of a lot of pay-per-views in the future.
Yeah. I saw him with Ken Block the other day.
Abdullah Mason was under him.
Yo, he was amazing, though.
Right, that's what I'm like. What the heck,
dude? Abdullah Mason's a bad mother. Okay,
yeah, he's a great boxer. Great boxer.
And he was on the under. He was under the legend.
So okay, guys, I didn't say this. This is from my brother Sid UK. Says I'd rather watch paint dry than that woman's fight. Zurdo versus Bivol is the fight for me. Those women, when they fight, I'll relax and have a cup of tea.
Living up to his name there, good old Sid, isn't he?
Oh, I love Sid, man. He's
had
always
to put a cup of tea at the end, didn't you, Sid?
Don't worry, it's over in 20 minutes. It's only 2-minute round, so you
well, keep in mind, guys. And once again, I'm going to stress this. I didn't say that. Sid did. Okay.
But Sid was telling us how
don't kill the messenger. He also says this. He says, you know, I just don't like watching it. 2-minute rounds is hurting female boxing as well. Stops before it can even get anywhere. Subpar at best.
To be fair, though, you know, you increase that round length, and we're going to be seeing some very messy fighting.
That's it, Sean, and I'm glad you brought that up, brother.
I've got women I train with in the gym, and it's the same.
Because you know what? That's a very insightful point. Because this is why it's designed at 2 minutes. Because it's more of an accumulative effort in the ring, and they take more damage instead of just one shot at a time. You get bludgeoned if you're overmatched.
Yep.
Okay. And so that's the reason why, guys. So Peter Von Ark says, Nico Ollie Walsh, Campbell Hatton, Jake Paul, Battle Royale, make the fight. Chinga. Oh, speaking of which, guys, I just got tickets for me and my son. We're going to see the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas this year or next year in January. Isn't that awesome?
That
That's
is
going to be
awesome.
amazing.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. You're going to have a great time.
We love some pro wrestling, man, and we love some WWF. And yes, I'm
That's
saying
entertaining.
WWF. Thank you very
Cool.
much.
It was
Keep it old
it
school,
was so
Joe.
hard
Keep
to
it old
change. I don't know
school.
why they did that to us. I
Well,
still hold the grudge.
I'll tell you exactly why. The damn World Wildlife Fund
Yep.
had the WWF copywritten.
Some
And
damn
so they
panda bears,
forced
right?
exactly the panda bear on the logo. That's exactly right. And so they forced WWF and Vince McMahon to change the
Took
moniker.
them a while though, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, they tried to get by as long as they possibly could without it. Yeah.
Well, it's like the whole World Wildlife Federation had no idea that the WWF World Wrestling Federation even existed.
Okay, so just so you guys know that we're fair and balanced on this channel, and not to categorize us with Fox News, right? I'm just using that fair and balanced. Okay, so here's the real Merc. Thank you for joining us, sir. He says we can't sleep on females. They've been putting on some great fights, fight of the year contenders this year, and yes, they have. Yes, they have.
You know,
I'd argue with which fights are the fights of the year.
Okay, in your opinion, Hyphy, since you're the biggest proponent, seemingly, of this female championship bout, lineal championship bout, coming up this Saturday, what are your top candidates for the female fights of the year in 2022?
I mean, it's going to be hard to top the Shields versus Marshall fight. I mean, one, it's a fight that it had a lot of buzz in it. It lost all of its buzz with the Queen dying, and it had just so many eyes on it. So for that fight to still surpass everybody's expectations in such a meaningful fight, I think that has to be it. But I could understand if somebody wants to argue, the Katie Taylor and Serrano fight also, because that was a great one.
HLD, your comments on that response from Hyphy.
It's gonna be it's to me definitely gonna be Serrano Taylor. That carried a buzz for so long afterwards. That fight catapulted this card. That fight catapulted then this all-female card of and so it's hands down Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano candidate for fight of the year.
Okay, guys, and just to hammer in HLD's point, right? When you take a look at last Saturday's Vasyl Lomachenko, Jermaine Ortiz card, that was held in the theater of Madison Square Garden, the Hulu Theater, right? Mm-hmm. Serrano and Taylor was a near sellout in the Big House, where the Knicks play.
That was live
at MSG.
That was jumping,
right?
Yeah,
that's what kind of buzz that fight created. And I tell you what, great job on Eddie Hearn and Jake Paul pushing those ticket sales. And you know what? That's sorely missed. You know what? I'm sick and tired, and I understand from a business perspective why so many promoters, these lazy bastards, right, want to just depend on the licensing fee and depend on the big casino site fee, and their job's done. They don't even bother promoting these events anymore. So I'll tell you what, it was really nice to see Eddie Hearn and Jake Paul hustle to promote ticket sales at a mainstream venue like Madison Square Garden. Well done, guys. Well
Eddie
done.
hustles hard. Eddie hustles hard. Like people,
you know what?
He's all over
he
the
does.
world.
You know what? You say what you want about Eddie Hearn and being, well, probably the biggest hypocrite of all promoters these days, but boy, he believes in bringing the product to mainstream audiences, and he hustles for ticket sales. He pushes ticket sales. And you know what? And he's a great spokesperson for all of his fighters.
He does interviews with absolutely everyone. He's in Australia. He's in Abu Dhabi. He's in America.
He's open doors for everybody. I can admit that. He is very open doors to everybody. He's very candid to the best of his abilities. I can say definitely he's a great guy for the sport of boxing. Just wish he cleaned a few things up within his, what decisions he's been making and crap. But absolutely, I think he opens his doors to everybody, gives everybody the time and day, and that has to be very much appreciated.
Well, I tell you what, my only advice to Eddie at this time, and I'm sure his dad Barry, right, was telling him the same thing. Lad, why do you consistently bite the hand that feeds you? Like, dude, why are you doing that to DAZN? It's like, why do you sell the broadcast rights to the Saudis when DAZN just dropped this huge multi-fight deal with Joshua? Why are you doing that when they're bankrolling your entire operation around the world? Why would you do that?
I can only imagine there was something to do with the business deal with DCT, which is obviously now the Bivol Zerdo fight is in conjunction with them, and consider. I just see it from, you know, like I was saying earlier, I do a lot of business here in the city, and sometimes, you know, sometimes you've got to speculate to accumulate, right? So that short-term pain, long-term gain. Because they obviously ended up picking it up for the US, but they had it free on the DAZN app, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I don't know how that deal would have been.
You know,
I don't know how that would have been put together, but I assume that there's some conversation about that.
But for DAZN, boy, that's some small consolation, right? Small compensation.
Oh, it was.
Hey, you can have the broadcast, you can have you can pay the licensing fee when these other markets. In these other markets where it doesn't even move the needle.
No,
but for the UK, we're going to give it to your competitor, Sky Sports.
No, I think when, you know, if you look at it like that terrible maneuver, if you look at it down the line from what they're going to do next and the fights that they're going to put on and they're going to bring, I think that, you know, they're looking 12, 18 months in the future constantly.
Okay, if Anthony Joshua is still the same fighter. After losing 3 of his last 5 fights.
Deontay Wilder or something like that, you know, like those
Possibly.
ones. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, we're going to have something that's going to bring that back. You know, that's the only way I look at it, because I can't see how they would be happy then giving it for free in the US when you've got so many people in the US, but yet have Sky taking it in the UK. And also with
that's the market that really mattered. Yep.
Yeah, and Sky Sports being their rival, and you know how they feel. You can see in the interviews they're always arguing. But the fact that Usyk was also given them for free for the people of Ukraine, like I just feel like there was something. He's out there right now with Bivol and Ramirez, and you know that deal was struck up then clearly. You know, like for
of course.
I just think it's a long game, and I think that's why he's still got good graces with DAZN.
Well, in this business, you say short-term pain, long-term gain. With that deal, you could see long-term pain for Eddie Hearn with DAZN, because he still hasn't come up with an alternative to fill that void.
He's crying. He's crying for Bivol to beat Zerdo because he wants to make that Canelo. He wants to make that Canelo Bivol rematch. He wants that.
And not going to happen, brother. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
I'm putting some pennies on Zerdo. Pesos, I should say.
Okay, so pesos. Did you just say pesos?
I live in Mexico City, Joseph.
Yeah, you do. That's right, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm well, I've got some dollars, but they're not going to take it at the casino.
Oh, chingao. Well, I tell you what, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay, brother. If you had to bet money, does Canelo ever get or want the rematch with Dimitri Bivol?
Hell to the no. And if I was his best friend or his wife, I'd be like, what did Adrian say? You can win.
But what happened though, Frank?
What do you mean what happened? Bivol's the better fighter.
He's just bigger. Adrian said you can't win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he killed her the next movie. She was dead.
Oh boy. And guys, once again, it remains to be seen. So I'm going to ask you guys, we're going to have a void in the States, right? Cinco de Mayo weekend in Vegas is traditionally the biggest pay-per-view evening of the year domestically. And Canelo's not expected to come back until September for Mexican Independence, which is also a huge pay-per-view weekend. Yeah, so what's going to fill that void in the States? We're going to go clockwise once again. Frank, your initial thoughts, brother. What's going to fill that void? And if you say Benavidez, Caleb Plant, I'm going to throw something through my computer and hit you with it.
Why? He's Mexican, man. Joseph.
After at the top of my head, that's a tough one. I don't know who's viable. The only thing I could think of is maybe a Wilder Ruiz type of event with another Mexican on the undercard. Maybe Munguia, if he comes through, or Ryan,
Ooh.
possibly
Ooh.
with a good opponent. But I mean, there's really no viable. The last person to do it was it Floyd Mayweather? Because
Money
he
May.
had those.
Hey, Cinco de Mayweather, dog.
He's the last one that I remember carrying those dates.
Right?
So maybe
Sean.
Wilder Ruiz.
You know what? Wilder
Yep.
Ruiz would be an excellent candidate for Cinco de
Sure.
Mayo, but I think that's going to take place within the first 2 quarters instead. But you know what? Cinco de Mayo is an excellent event for Cinco de Mayo. Yep. Ruiz Wilder. That's an excellent proposition. Sean, your thoughts on what's going to fill that Canelo void on Cinco de Mayo 2023?
The fan in me says Ryan versus Tank.
Ryan versus whom?
Ryan versus Tank.
Woo! Let's hope
Be
so,
huge.
man. That is
And
a blockbuster.
Tank comes out dressed in his Mexican colors.
hey, like Cinco de Mayweather?
Yeah,
Hey,
for
hey.
sure. I mean, come on, it's written, right? It's
Hey, you know,
literally written.
it's all gravy up in here, baby. All right, HLD, your thoughts on what's going to fill that Canelo void for Cinco de Mayo 2023?
Wow, it's got to be Wilder and Ruiz. That would be the only logical, fight for me that would make sense, because
Okay.
everything else is outside of here. I don't see anything.
Okay,
else
well,
that
guys,
may
I've
work.
got one that you guys haven't even thought of, and it's almost a surety to be Cinco de Mayo. But before I say anything, let's get Hyphy's thoughts. Brother Hyphy, or should I say Rick Glazer Jr., what are your thoughts, brother, on the Cinco de Mayo? What's going to fill that void this next year, 2023?
Well, see, actually, I think Canelo is going to be returning on that date, but
Whoa.
just to participate and throw a fight out there. Black Prime rules. How about Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz pay-per-view?
Virgil Ortiz. Did you say Virgil Ortiz?
Virgil Ortiz versus Crawford on pay-per-view.
Oh,
That's
geez.
insane.
And
That's
an LBK, whatever.
BLK Prime, Cinco de Mayo.
What
You're
you do?
insane.
BLM Prime? Is that what you guys said? BLM Prime? Chingao.
Yeah, he didn't even know how to say it. We're gonna say LMK or whatever.
AOL Prime? Is that what you guys are saying? Look, guys. This is my thought, right? And this is kind of a wild card, and this is something that most boxing fans wouldn't fathom. But this would be a huge event on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and this would have an outreach to a huge mainstream and casual demographic. I'm going to say this right now because Jake Paul just stated.
Jake Paul.
Yep, Jake Paul just stated. Listen. Jake Paul just stated, look, I'm going to schedule all my fights when there's no other sports going on, not football, not baseball, not basketball, not hockey, nothing. And so, guys, look forward. Don't be shocked if you see Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Mijo on Cinco de Mayo weekend in Vegas, 2023.
Mediocre.
That's massive.
I'm not gonna see it, so I don't know.
That's 50,000, right? 50,000 people.
Dude, that's a huge event, guys. And look, and just to see if he can embarrass Jake Paul, Mexicanos would galvanize behind Chavez Jr. once again for the millionth time. And you know what? Just to see. Oh, wait a minute. Kevin Fuentes said this. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is in rehab. No shit. Can anyone confirm that?
I heard something to that effect.
Okay, so he says no one is getting behind Chavez Jr. You know what? I thought that a long time ago. And for some strange reason, whenever he steps in the ring, people still get behind him because of that last name.
Yeah, because they don't.
It's crazy. So Peter Von Ark says this, okay? And I want to get your thoughts on this rumor as well. Pitbull Cruz versus Ryan Garcia.
Um,
That's okay. That's never going to happen.
No,
It's as bad as Tank Davis and Ryan. It's the same
Yeah,
situation.
that's the same situation. One
Yeah.
is with Showtime Sports. Okay, I know it's Sean Gibbons and Manny Pacquiao Promotions, but they have an exclusive deal with Showtime Sports and Steven Espinosa. You run into that same problem, right? You know, honestly though, guys, I tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing Ryan Garcia versus William Zepeda.
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah,
Excellent
it's a
fight.
great fight.
That would be an excellent fight. That kid to me has earned the pure performance of the year with what he did
Cepeda
last
already
weekend.
shot it down. He
He's a
already shot it down.
workhorse, man. He's a workhorse. But look, who else is Ryan going to fight if broadcasters insist on having these exclusive deals with these promoters?
It's killing the sport.
Yep, that's it. In my opinion, that's the next biggest problem. It's a very distant second, but it's the second biggest problem behind piracy. But my brother Sid UK says, look, if he's in rehab, Jake Paul will push for him more.
He'll wheel him out of there. He'll take
He
him
is
home.
a sponsor.
Yeah,
Sponsor him.
he'll do whatever. He'll have a big bag waiting for him. No problem.
Oh, geez. I tell you
sort
what,
you out,
though.
mate.
But
Yeah.
guys, it's going to be interesting to see how long Canelo sits out. From what I've been told, expect his return to be on Mexican Independence in September.
Yeah,
Not
I saw
May.
him.
Yeah,
I
they just
saw him have
removed
his cast cut off the other day, and
yeah.
the where the stitches are. I mean, it's quite in a naughty spot. It's right on the bend of the wrist.
Yep. So, guys, we'll see. But I tell you what, it's going to
Adrian
be
Broner versus somebody on BAK.
Oh, Chingao, dude.
Adrian
Yeah,
Brown
don't
probably
forget that.
faces himself on BLK Prime.
Guys, look. We don't even know what, and they're planning on, from what I've been told, they're planning on staging his event on February 4th of 2023 for BLK Prime. But guys, this is what a clusterfuck this is. They don't even know what weight division he's going to compete in. Seriously, did you see him working the heavy bag? He looks like Fred Sanford,
He's
brother.
like, guys, you want it after Christmas, right? Yeah, wait to see how I come back after Christmas.
Oh my gosh,
weigh
dude.
me in, and then we'll find someone for the weight that I'm going to be at. Wow.
So once again, this just outlines and showcases the inexperience of BLK Prime. Why would you invest in that guy? Now, once again, look, Adrian Broner as a person, like behind the camera, right? He is actually a very, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy to talk to, and he's actually very charitable. He gives away a lot of money whenever he gets it, right? He's actually a good guy. The guy behind the camera, though, AB about billions, that guy's a horse's ass. But Adrian Broner, behind the camera, he's a great guy.
Well, he used to be in his early career. He was very approachable, great. He was like that all the time,
I'll never
and then
forget.
he switched.
I'll never forget. I was covering, and I was in at the gym when AB was preparing for Marcos Maidana, and that was at the wintertime in San Antonio, Texas, at the Alamodome. And he was during fight week, he was training and staying in shape, getting sharp at T. Morones boxing gym in San Antonio, and I was there. And it was so cold that he said, you know what? I'm going to buy some heaters for your gym, okay? And this is on me. You guys can have this. And so we went out to Home Depot, and we got a bunch of space heaters for the entire gym. And that was on Adrian Broner. He bankrolled that.
Right.
And he donated that to the gym. That's what a decent guy Adrian Broner is and how charitable he is. Because he could have easily said, fuck this, I'm going to Jesse James Leha's gym.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And he and both Mike Stafford were very, very good people, man, when we hung out with him and spent the entire week with him. And so I can't say anything bad about AB except he's not worth $4 million per fight. At this juncture of his career, what mental genius is going to invest a 3-fight deal, not knowing if he's going to be in shape, and pay him $4 million for 3 fights? $4 million per fight.
Ain't you lucky you ain't one of the suckers who invested in these guys to invest your money?
Yep. Okay, and so here's hold on. The real Merc has the beat. Broner versus Maidana 2 at cruiserweight on BLK Prime.
Yes. Bridgerweight.
Bridgerweight. Okay, so you know what? And I'm with John McSmith in this. Like I said, in front of the camera, AB's a different guy. He says AB embarrassed and humiliated Al Bernstein for no good reason. I didn't like it, and I still don't. I'm with you, brother. I second that. That was classless.
There was no need for that.
That was classless. So the final topic du jour, guys, we're going to end this on a high note. David Benavidez just announced that he signed on the dotted line to face Caleb. Couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night. Plant. How do you like that, guys? Woo!
Love it.
They had to scramble and get something of positive note over there. So, you know, they made this
respect
happen.
to both. Respect to Caleb more because at least he's doing bits.
Should have happened sooner, but hey, we'll take it.
It's happening.
Oh, come on, man. Look, Caleb Plant's coming off of a big win and a devastating knockout victory over my brother, Anthony the Dog Durrell. Oh, boy, he knocked him out cold, man. That was a brutal knockout and a knockout of the year candidate.
I think it's knockout of the year. It's such a beautiful setup that he did for that knockout.
Oh, it was brilliant. The hook to the body and then straight up to the head. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And so he deserves this. He deserves this. He's a former IBF champion coming off of a big win, and he's got a new trainer in Breadman Edwards. I like this matchup. Hyphy, how do you feel about this matchup, and who would you favor?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Anthony got slept by that white boy. He said he wouldn't listen.
Oh boy, he did get slept, man, by Blue Eyed Soul, didn't he?
But, you know what? In this fight, well, as far as the fight, I'm picking David. But I got a question about it also. You see,
go ahead, brother, shoot.
These two, they saying that after they fight, I'm pretty sure the winner is going to want Canelo. So do you think they're going to maybe overprice themselves in a fight with David Morrell or just, overlook him? Like, do you think that fight goes off the table for Morrell?
You know what? It depends. It depends. If Canelo is interested in unwisely trying to avenge his loss against Dimitri Bivol, okay, then you have no choice but to look within your division. And to be honest with you, as long as he's been kind of monopolizing these belts without them putting pressure on him. And I'm talking about the sanctioned organizations not putting pressure on Canelo to face his mandatories. Well, then you have to start looking at these interim champions as legitimate unification bouts. Okay. So the winner of David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, that is a genuine unification bout then. The WBC interim versus the WBA regular. That's a great fight. Okay. And so it's all going to be contingent on what Canelo chooses to do next. Right. That's going to be it. Right. Sean, who do you like? Who do you favor? Because the initial betting lines haven't even been released yet. But who would you favor and who do you like in this fight?
Well, Caleb has all of the tools.
Yep.
To outbox Benavidez with his very methodical, flat-footed, walking forward style. Defensively, he's not great. Caleb seems to have, a bit between his teeth right now after that Canelo fight. He's learned a lot. Clearly, he's had the big step now. He's made the money. He looks hungry, and I feel if he can keep the right distance and the speed up and the cardio, he could win that fight. Benavidez, though, knows that making a statement with this really puts him on the map. Now, Caleb fighting Canelo, that's a huge scalp for him and something that people have been asking for a long time. So I think he's gonna come out. He's gonna be pretty vicious.
You know, I'll never forget this, Sean. I remember leading up to and I think it was the week before, Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
And I was on a panel with Maestro and D-Style and whoever, that Jughead from Ringside or whatever his name is. And they asked me what I thought about that matchup. And I said, guys, look, in my opinion, Canelo is catching Caleb Plant at the right time.
Yep.
He's unseasoned,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got all the tools to be a very difficult outing for Canelo Alvarez. And I said this back then, and they all laughed at me. I said, look, he's an elite level talent, but just hasn't had the opportunity. Give him 3 more years, and I think he beats Canelo Alvarez. He's that good. He has that much potential.
Yep.
And they fucking laughed at me. And I said, look, guys, watch and see how this fight plays out. It's not going to be that easy for Canelo.
Nope.
Okay, he may stop him. He may beat him, but it's not going to be that easy. And when you look at the judges' scorecards at the end of the night, it's going to be very competitive.
Yep.
And how did it play out?
And it was.
Yeah.
That's right. It was a great fight.
He's a great
fight.
fighter.
He's an excellent fighter, guys. He's an elite level talent.
Yep.
He just needs the opportunities, and he needs to stay active.
Yeah, and he is. And like that's when you people really don't understand what it's like when you go under those bright lights, when it becomes big, real big. You know, you're talking undisputed. You know, the man had 1 belt, right? He's not fought anyone on Canelo's level. That's a huge, huge change in atmosphere, in environments, in media obligations, in absolutely every way possible. This is not the norm for you. It's just not the same. And he went in there and he had a great account of himself. And not only that, but on that stage with that name, after the press conference and everything that was said back and forwards, and the way he lost wasn't a points decision. He was knocked out, right? So, you know, the way he bounced back, held his head high, took a little bit of time away, went away with his lady, you know, have a child on the way, got straight back in the gym, working in the darkness, keeping himself silent while the rest of the boxing world be as fickle as they normally are, and forget about the guy that lost, and just concentrate on the ones that are winning or undefeated. Came back with a fantastic knockout of Darrell, and then jumped straight into a contract with Benavidez. Tells me all I need to know about the nature of that man.
That's it. So, in the immortal words of Caleb Plant, listos para los chingazos. Listos para los chingazos. Woo!
Hey, he's a great shit talker, man.
I can't wait to see it. Let's just look at. And when this press conference happens, just don't wear sunglasses this time, brother. Just don't wear sunglasses, okay? But guys, I can't wait to see that. This is a great fight. Frank,
brilliant fight.
Your thoughts? Can Caleb Plant pull off the upset, or do you think David Benavidez is just going to prove to be too much in March of 2023?
I think it's a no and hell no. This is more this is more than a belt. This is more than undisputed. This is for the most money they're ever going to see in their life, because it sets up a Canelo match. And I think David is going to have to, and he's going to make a statement by stopping Plant in more impressive fashion than Canelo did.
Well,
and if it doesn't, I could see a Felix Sturm, De La Hoya thing happen.
Oh boy, please perish the thought, brother. Perish the thought. Chingao.
You know, dude, boxing, Joe.
Look, this is going to be a great fight, guys. I anticipate a great fight in which Breadman Edwards has his man ready. I think Jose Sr. has his man ready. Guys, may the best man win. This is a terrific matchup, arguably the best that you're going to see at 68 in 2023.
Things, Joseph, right?
Yep.
Let's hope this proves to others that you can make the fights, you can lose a fight, you can still make the fights.
That's it. Look, guys. And once again, it's fights that have consequence.
Mhm.
These are the fights that matter. These are the fights that we want to see, the ones with consequence. And guess what? If you have a good showing, even in loss, your stock rises.
For sure, if people watch the actual fight instead of highlights, or just listen to people on social media to gain their own idea, and watch the fight and see how the man's acting, and tune in for the training, for the press conferences, get to know these fighters, start not just man fanning for one or two and saying the same names constantly, day in, day out. So
Mhm.
many great fighters out there, and we could be getting great fights if people would just broaden their horizon of what they follow within the one sport, from the smaller weight classes all the way up to the heavyweight classes.
Yeah, and
There's
these
so
guys
much talent.
genuinely don't like each other. There's
No, they
genuine
hate each
bad
other.
blood.
Yeah, they hate
They
each
had a
other. They've already
scuffle
fought
a
in
few
gyms.
years
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
so they really don't like each other.
And this will all come out, and hopefully the casuals will see this. Hopefully they'll
Mm.
understand. Hopefully they'll turn up, because the way I see this fight playing out, it's not going to be the normal Benavidez fight, and it's going to be a fantastic looking Caleb Plant in there. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great
Yeah,
fight.
two different styles. It's a great stylistic
I love it,
matchup.
guys. I love it.
Mhm.
I love
That's
it.
why we
I
want the Loma
absolutely love it.
Haney, right? That's what we want, the Loma Haney. It's not about
Yep.
the Loma Haney for me is not about the belts. It's not about the undisputed. It's not about who's the best in. It's about seeing those two styles match up. What
Yep.
really comes of that? I can't wait to see something like that. That'll
Well,
be like the news. Go on.
even if Vasily Lomachenko's on the back nine, right, which many speculate that he is, he's an all-time great. He's a first bout Hall of Famer. You have to pit the young guns against these guys. That passing of the torch, that you have to see these matchups, guys.
Yeah.
This
As
is
old
what
as the sport
creates
is.
this is the best way to create future stars.
And
Yeah, there was
right?
I guess today's the anniversary of Zoo and Judah.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
And-
also the anniversary of Calzaghe Kessler, and I
Yeah,
was actually there.
Great fight.
And that's why we need these
Whoa.
fights, because that's what we're used to. And these guys don't understand when we talk about how it used to be. We're not just being bastards.
No, we're not.
Trying to-
Like, we're just blessed. That's all. We've just been blessed. That's all. We've been blessed to follow a sport and follow it in its entirety.
We've seen
That's the
when
difference.
the young gun faced Zoo was he was kind of he was past it. Well, he was nearing past it, because he didn't really go much further after that, did he, Joe? You remember? I think that was the highlight. Was
Well,
Zab Judah?
which one? Zab Judah or Kostya Tszyu? Which one?
Kostya Tszyu, Zab Judah was pretty much the highlight for Zab. He lost a couple years to Ricky Hatton.
You know what though? He became the lineal champion when he beat Corey Spinks. So you can't say that was the pinnacle, right? He ended up winning the
Corey Spinks.
No. I'm talking about Zab Judah.
Yeah, Zab. Well, no, I'm trying to correlate the Loma Haney to what we witnessed in that era.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking about the old head versus the young gun, and Zoo.
Okay,
I mean,
well
everybody
then, yeah. Well
Zoo
then, if you're looking at that, then you have to look at Ricky Hatton versus Kostya Tszyu in Manchester, and Zoo was the favorite, and Matthew Chingao, forgive me for saying that. Ricky Hatton, he mauled Kostya Tszyu and earned that stoppage. Sorry, dude, that was a terrible gaffe on my part, man. I probably, dude, I just sounded like George W. when I said that, didn't I? Chingao, guys.
The great Matthew Hatton. the forgotten best Hatton.
Dude, his receding hairline and everything. Chingao, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, my word. But, guys, I'm going to step away for a second. If you guys could all hang on, we're going to play a very special edition, right? If you guys would like to. Now, once again, we had Fact or Fiction with Coach Ronnie Shields. We're going to give you, I would like to play this same Fact or Fiction with all of you guys in the final segment of the show. But okay, so I'm going to ask you guys individual Fact or Fiction, but I have to step away first. But guys, my question to you is, and this is a Fact or Fiction, right? A preemptive one. Let me ask you this, and this is number 7 on Fact or Fiction, and we're going to start with Hyphy, okay? Because he's been silent this whole time. Hyphy, fact or fiction, brother? Jose Zepeda versus Regis Prograis for $39.50 will actually outperform Crawford Avanesian on pay-per-view due to fan backlash and a more appealing undercard. Fact or fiction? Now, hold on. Before you say anything, I have to step away for a second. I will be right back, sir. But go ahead. The floor is yours. Your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I'm going to say fiction. I think because of all the drama that Crawford has stirred up, I actually think that will actually, help him out. They say any type of promo is good promo, whether bad or good. So I think some of this bad promo is going to help him out. So I'm going to say, fiction on that one.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, who's hosting the Regis Cepeda fight?
Isn't it? You're talking about the promoter or where the actual place is at?
How are you gonna order it?
Is it Pro
It's
Bello?
through Fight TV. No, I think it's
Fight TV.
That's what I've seen.
How big is Fight TV already?
Probably not that big.
They're not that big, but I just feel like this. I got more trust in them having a service and all they shit, camera quality and shit.
Yeah.
Better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've at least got experience. And Joe raised a good point. The card itself is going to be better, surely. They can't be putting a great card together for the Bud fight.
With the David Avanesian fight, you're saying the card for Regis and Zepeda's better?
It would have to be, surely.
I'm gonna be biased. I hope it's fact. I hope it does better. I think I don't like the David Bud fight. I just don't like it.
No.
It's crap.
There's nothing to get excited about, is it?
Nah, I feel defrauded. I feel like that I've had the rug pulled from underneath me. At least Zepeda and Regis, they're going to give it their all. I mean, what do you think David's being brought in for?
Yeah.
But I mean, is it going to do better? Shoot. Yeah, I'm going to just say yes. Fact, Regis and Zepeda will do better. I mean, how many people know who Bud Crawford is?
Not many. Not many.
Look, guys, and let's be honest. Even though this is a very competitive fight, and I really like this fight, right? Oh shoot, Frank just disappeared. Okay,
come back.
Okay, he'll be back in a second. I think it's his phone. I think he has to charge his phone real quick or switch phones or something.
Yeah, that might happen to me in a bit.
He on the BLK Prime network.
He's on.
Okay, he's on that Cricket Mobile. Gotcha. All right, brother. So I just set in. So what was your verdict, Hyphy?
Okay, I said I believe that Crawford Avanesian will do more pay-per-view buys solely based off all the controversy that Crawford has caused, because any type of controversy sells. So that's my answer.
Okay, well that very well could be the case. Sean, what did you say about it, brother?
I asked who is Regis and Cepeda on, and they said Fight TV.
Yeah, it's going to be on Fight TV. Yes.
How big is Fight TV in the US?
Well, it has a much larger outreach around the world than BLM Prime. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean around the world, but I said the US because to be
US.
To be frank, when Frank isn't here, no one outside the US is into Bud, as like everybody thinks that he is. So in the US,
well,
this would be a battle of US fans.
Look, and what Hyphy said, it remains to be seen, right? And of course, Terrence Crawford is one of the best fighters, and for a lot of people, the best pound for pound fighter in boxing at this time. But I know a lot of people who are going to be both boycotting Spence's next fight as well as Terrence Crawford's next fight as a result of the backlash of this fight not getting made, right?
Well, that's why he made the video the other night, right? It wasn't for truth. It wasn't for truth. It was for people to buy the BLK Prime fight.
That's exactly why.
That's why he made that video.
That's exactly why, because he's getting such bad press. And look, guys, he's going to continue to get bad press. So is Spence. right? Everyone is pissed that we're not getting this fight. In my opinion, that's going to be a detriment to them trying to promote this event. And let's just face it, guys. Even though I like the matchup, personally, I like Terrence Crawford versus David Amanisian. I think it's going to be a great fight. And I think it's going to be competitive as long as it lasts. But no, it's not Spence versus Crawford. And you're going to see people stream the shit out of that thing if it goes down on December 10th. You're going to see, wow, I smell piracy in the air. And that's what you're going to get. Frank, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Hey, thank you. my BLK phone worked again.
Let's just hope. Stop it. No, it's I said your Cricket Mobile. So
okay.
No, so John McSmith says, and thank you for the correction, sir. He says BLK Joe, not BLM. I didn't think I said that, but maybe that slipped out. I don't know. They're both sound alike. And once again, guys, I mean that in the kindest possible way. Really, that was just a slip. I didn't even realize that I did that. So thank you for correcting me, sir. So here we go. Fact or fiction? Are you ready, guys?
Ready?
Bring
Set,
it.
go.
We're gonna start with Big Frank. Frank, number one. After receiving fact or fiction, after receiving a lukewarm response from Stephen Espinosa of Showtime Sports, Errol Spence Jr. will indeed be convinced to begrudgingly face WBC mandatory challenger Keith Once Upon a Time Thurman instead of his WBA mandatory Amantas Staniones next.
I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with fact. I think Earl, he's responding. He's a guy who stays in the background, but it looked like if you've seen those texts, that wasn't him in the beginning. Somebody was doing that for him. So he's feeling the heat. The leaked phone call, people are saying it's fake, but he feels the pressure. That's why Bud, a guy who's we've never heard talk, started speaking because they feel the pressure. And I think I heard someone's feelings about Bud, but it is what it is. When have we ever heard these guys talk? Now all of a sudden they're the spokesman. I mean, I don't know. They're feeling the pressure.
Well, look, guys, and once again, I earned my bones in this business initially of interviewing fighters. And when I was on the radio before and we had the Pugilist Corner, and I interviewed fighters on the weekly, I can tell you the three worst interviewees, right? The three worst subjects to interview on the air in a 20-minute segment were these three guys. One, Terrence Crawford. Oh my gosh, it was like watching grass grow, right? Two, Berman Stivern. Oh my gosh, dude, he would give you 1 or 2 word answers, just like Terrence.
I don't think he can talk anymore, can he?
And he had this really low voice that kind of put you to sleep. And oh my worst, it was terrible. And then 3, believe it or not, and I love this guy and I wish him well. I hope he's doing well in life. Paul Williams.
Oh yeah.
Even though he's a jovial, fun guy, and he looks like he's always in a great mood, always a smile on his face, he was the worst subject to interview. He had the worst short answers, and it was painstaking, brother. You couldn't get anything out of him. So those were the oh, it wasn't even that good, Hyphy. It was painstaking for all 3 of those guys, but those are my top 3 worst interviews of all time for a 20-minute segment. Guys, before I move forward, let me because I look, and forgive me for failing to recognize the birthday of Michael Buffer, right? Which happened 2 days ago, right? And this is a gentleman who is, well, he's getting up there in age. And thank you for still doing this, Michael. We appreciate it, brother. Let me tell you a quick story. Living legend. And let me tell you who discovered him. That was the late, great Emmanuel Stewart. Let me tell you a story he said about Michael Buffer, right? And this is a true story, guys. When I started working with Emmanuel, I asked him about Michael, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's one of our guys, man. We discovered him before, and I'm the one who brought him to HBO." And he said he used to call all of our little events, and then all of a sudden we brought him to HBO, and he just blew up into this international star. And he goes, and to be honest with you, a good-looking guy, always was very dapper. And to be honest with you, I always thought he was a little light in the loafers until he went with us to call these fights in Germany. And let me tell you something. I always thought I was slick with the ladies, but this guy got more ass than a toilet. Women loved this guy. Like, they absolutely loved him. And I found out very quickly that he loves women and women love him. And that's my true Michael Buffer story, in the immortal words of Emmanuel Stewart.
Yeah, he's dapper. Dapper Don there.
No, but the thing that I always thought was fascinating was Emmanuel. He got more ass than a toilet. Oh my gosh. I always thought that was fascinating. Freaking Emmanuel. He was always full of stories and always full of great things to say about everyone around him. He was such a kind guy, man. He was such a generous and kind person. And he did so much for everybody. But happy birthday, Michael. God bless you, brother. And we hope you're around for another 25 years of boxing, my friend. But so there it is. There's the Emmanuel Michael Buffer story. You ready for number 2? Sean, are you ready, sir?
I am.
After Loma's competitive outing with the crafty Jermaine Ortiz, Bill and Devin Haney will choose to face Vasily Lomachenko within the first half of 2023 on ESPN. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
You didn't even have to think about that, did you?
No. If he hadn't entered the ring, and if he hadn't said, I'll show you in the ring, and it was brought up that Loma's going to do whatever he can to make that fight, I would have said fiction, but I believe that's fact.
So do you think and really, I think you brought a lot of insight last Thursday when you told me that you think Vasily Lomachenko is the type of guy who's willing to take short money and do whatever it takes to get the deal done. And you know what? I really saw credence in that. And I think you're absolutely right on the money. I just think the biggest issue now is going to be the weight. So in my opinion, if this deal gets done within the first 6 months of 2023, yes, I think it happens. If it doesn't, he's going to be forced to move up to 140. Those are my thoughts, though.
Yeah, I agree. But it happens. It happens as soon as possible.
And there it is. So Sean says fact. Hyphy, are you ready for number 3, sir? You still with us, Hyphy?
Yeah.
Here you go. Fact or fiction? Dimitri Bivol versus Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez will prove to be a Fight of the Year candidate this Saturday in Abu Dhabi, UAE. My apologies. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fiction. Unfortunately, not. I think Zurdo's tendency to come in 30 pounds heavier at Bridgerweight is going to backfire.
You think we're going to see the Golden Corral buffet version of Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez?
He's gonna be
really?
as molasses.
Have you not seen the shape he's in? Have you not seen the shape he's in?
He looks great, guys. Like, do you see his media workout? He looks great.
He's ripped to fuck.
Yeah, guys. Honestly, I think this is the best shape I've ever seen him in, even when he was with Top Rank.
This fat Zurdo's got to be forgotten about. Like, this is not the same Zurdo coming to this fight. This is a guy he's sparred with before. This is a guy he's wanted for years. This is a guy he refused to even allow a step aside for Bivol to take on W.A.W. Like, he's pushed for this.
True.
He wants this badly. If you go and look at his workout, you go and look at him and how cut he is and what he looks like, there's no comparison to the previous Zurdo.
You know
I
what?
hope you prove me wrong.
Well, I tell you what, though, Hyphy, the official verdict from Hyphy, though, is a big fat fiction. So I tell you what, let's move on to number 4. Big Frank, are you ready, sir?
Yes, I am.
Here it is. Fact or fiction? Ryan Garcia will face William Zepeda in 2023 instead of Gervonta Tank Davis. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. I don't think he's gonna take Zepeda willingly. I think Tank is all on his mind, and if he doesn't fight Tank, I think he gets a somebody a little less threatening than Zepeda.
Wow, I tell you what, that's a great matchup. And you know what? It's okay. Well, here's a better question then. Who do you favor in that? Well, right now it's a mythical matchup, but in that potential matchup, who do you favor? Garcia or the workhorse William Zepeda?
You know what? I seen Zepeda get touched up by JoJo. I seen him go really close with that Tanahara guy who's a decent boxer. So I think Ryan Garcia slices and dices him. You know, people forget how big Ryan Garcia is for those weights. He's massive. And then you see his shoulders. You know, people used to think Oscar was a skinny guy, but on fight night, he was massive compared to Tito. So never underestimate the speed and power of Ryan Garcia. Does he have weaknesses like his chin exposed? Yeah, but Zepeda's not getting through that.
You know what? I think William Zepeda gives him a lot of targets. And I think you're right. I think Ryan would actually prove to be victorious. That lethal, quick, just shotgun left hook is just brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I not to underestimate Zepeda, but I think Zepeda looks like that against guys at his level.
Tell you what's going to be interesting. Let's we'll see if we see it. I'm still hoping that both networks can actually work out a deal, DAZN and Showtime, and we get Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis in January 7th, their targeted date for this event.
Right.
Okay. Next one. Number 5, Sean, are you ready, sir? Fact or fiction?
I'm ready. Let's go.
David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. Okay, after they lock horns, the winner will face Canelo Alvarez in September 2023. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Oh, shit.
Fiction.
Come on, man. Why so glum, brother?
I just see that being fiction. I don't think Canelo's jumping in the ring with either of those guys. I don't think he's going to jump in with Caleb Plant after already beating Caleb Plant to go undisputed. I think he's still eyeing the Bivol rematch. So this fight this weekend will be huge in that decision. And coming off a wrist injury and wrist surgery, I doubt he's going to jump in with Benavidez. So I say fiction.
Wow. Oh, geez. Let's hope you're wrong, brother, because I would love to see that fight. But you know what? You may be right, man. You're a very insightful individual. So let's move on to the next one. Hyphy, are you ready for the next one, brother?
Drum roll, bring it on, Joe.
Here it comes. Let's see. I already actually told you this, but here it comes. Number 6, facts or fiction. Jake Paul will scrap the idea of facing Tommy Fury in 2023 and elect to face Julio Cesar Chavez Mijo on Cinco de Mayo weekend in Las Vegas instead. Fact or fiction?
Wow, why the fuck I get a Jake Paul question? You know what? I'm gonna say fact because he like to just use that Fury name for whatever reason. And I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez is a very, very big reward, low risk fight. So hell yeah, I'm gonna say that's a fact.
Okay, so who wins? Jake Paul, Chavez Mijo.
Jake Paul win that fight. Chavez Jr.
Really?
In the first round and then quit on his stool.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Frank, do you second that sentiment?
That they will fight and Jake Paul wins?
Yeah.
Knowing Junior's history, I'd have to say Jake. Because if you look at WB, they're trying to get him ranked.
Yep.
So that makes the most sense. I mean, Suleiman's put in a lot of weight behind Jake Paul, in case people don't notice.
Yep.
He was going to get ranked had he beat Hasim Rahman.
Yep.
So
which is just that's like sacrilegious.
Yep.
When you look at how many great fighters work so hard to get ranked from the WBC. And keep in mind, guys, this is the WBC. When did they start ranking fighters, Sean?
I'm not sure.
They start ranking you within 50, right?
No, I thought it was higher than that on the WBC.
Maybe it's 20.
Yeah, I swear it is.
Okay, so that's sacrilegious to me.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right.
I swear it's 20. I swear it's
higher. You know what? That's just terrible. That's just terrible.
Yeah, I swear I remember reading an article when they were talking about doing that with Rahman, and they were just saying, he's not even anywhere close to even being allowed to be ranked.
So I tell you what. What makes this fight interesting to me, and this would be awesome, and this would be everyone would tune into this if this would happen. If Chavez Sr. would say, "Hey, you know what, son? I'm not going to let you be embarrassed. The Chavez surname is on the line. I'm going to be your chief second. I'm gonna train you for this fight, and damn it, you go make me proud, and you whoop the shit out of this snot-nosed piece of shit from YouTube."
Have a Mickey moment.
Yes, dude, I would love to see it. And if he did that, boy, I'd be dialed in. I'd be dialed in as if this were a real fight.
Shit,
I'd be completely dialed in, brother. I would throw down my two bits, man, for this one. I would. Number 8, Sean, is it your turn? I think it's your turn, correct?
No, is it Frank?
Is it
if
Frank's
you want
turn?
it to be, it could be either or.
Okay, no, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to jump the chain. Frank, number 8, Fact or Fiction. Here it comes. Okay. Dillian White will be KO'd and upset by Jermaine Franklin on November 26th. Fact or fiction?
Gee, I have to be honest. I'm not too. This is one I'm not really familiar with. Franklin.
Anyone else want to jump in on this? Then I'll give you another.
Sean probably knows more than that.
Sean, Sean, do you think? And once again, I'm going to say this to you. Then Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Fact or Fiction. Dillian White will be KO'd and upset by Jermaine Franklin on November 26th. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
¿Por qué?
I just, Dillian White's putting himself back into a position. He's got too much to lose. He's not going to allow that to happen.
Well, you know what's funny about Jermaine Franklin? He's one of those guys that's like, you really don't know what you're going to get. He's like Charles Martin, where sometimes he looks great, and then sometimes he just looks like
he's not even, like he's just started.
Like he looks like an opponent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Jermaine Franklin is that guy. So which one are we going to see on the big stage on November 26th? The contender or the opponent?
He's going to be the opponent.
Mm.
I'm thoroughly convinced. Dillian White's putting himself in a position again. Like that's what he's doing. He knows what he's doing by taking on Jermaine Franklin.
You think a potential big payday with Anthony Joshua is at stake?
For sure.
Yeah.
You can see it on the horizon. That's why he's getting this in now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
Like it's that knock-on effect, right? And that's why it is Franklin. I mean, what's Franklin's best win? Like what was it? Pavel Saw?
Yep.
Jerry Forrest? What was the last guy for? It was that Moore, wasn't it? Rodney. What Rodney is it? Rodney. I think he was I think he was evens on. I think he was evens on wins and losses. Like terrible fighter.
Oh boy.
Terrible. Like that's what I mean. Like it's tailor made. It's one of those. It's setting. They've got to do something because they're talking about Otto Warling and things like that.
See, that's a much trickier fight, the Otto
Mhm.
Wallin fight.
But they want
Yeah,
Dillian White to win. They need it. It's
yeah.
at Wembley as well. So
Boy, you're right. Rodney Moore was his last fight, and he knocked him out in the 5th round. Before that, he went the distance with Pavel Sewer.
yep. And Jerry Forrest, if I
And
remember,
he went the distance before that, won a split decision against Jerry Forrest. Yep.
I think he's gone the distance in nearly his last 10 fights, maybe.
And
or
then
even
before
close to.
that, he went the distance, got a 10-round unanimous decision with the ancient Rydell Booker.
There you go.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was in Atlantic City, wasn't it?
That's right. It's hard
Yeah, I
to
think my
argue
friend
with
went
you
to
there,
that.
brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he went to the one in Detroit. He was there at Detroit. Yeah, he's just
Yep.
doing the rounds. He's just doing
Yep.
the rounds.
Oh boy.
He's
Well, I
got
tell
no
you what.
aspirations. Franklin's got no aspirations to be great.
Well, we'll see what happens. November 26th, guys. It's gonna be on the zone. Hyphy, you're next, brother. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Fact or fiction? Despite receiving a ton of criticism from fans and critics alike, Fury versus Chisora 3 will prove to be much more entertaining and competitive than most believe. Fact or fiction?
And that's fiction. Yeah, that's fiction. And I like Del Boy also, but man, just
Chingo.
too past it.
Frank, what say you, brother?
I think it'll be entertaining for Fury fans. He's always entertaining. I know he gets a lot of flack and a lot of people hate him, but I mean, he puts on a show.
And that's another thing. I can't understand for the life of me why all the Tyson Fury hatred. Sean, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah.
Let's hear it, brother. Honestly, I love Tyson Fury. And if you ask me, excuse me, if every fighter could speak and was as enthusiastic and as personable as Tyson Fury, this sport would once again be in the consciousness of the mainstream.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, like you check all the boxes. Tyson Fury is great for the health of the sport.
Yeah,
so why all the massive disdain?
Because he beat Wilder, that's all.
No, there's some people that just really don't like him. They point to all his antics, but what do I care?
One thing I've noticed also, Big Frank, is that a lot of UK people, a lot of UK fight fans who love Anthony Joshua, they love to hate Tyson Fury. Do you think that's another reason? Because they see him as their potential nemesis.
Yeah, I would hate him too if he was winning all the time. Fuck.
No one hated him when he was fat.
No. Tell you what, when he was butterball,
when he was swelling up, no one hated him then.
But I tell you what, I tip my hat to my brother Javen. He's done a tremendous job with Tyson Fury.
Oh, and they look like they've got a great relationship.
Yep, they sure do. And you know what? I'm really happy that Tyson has once again decided to work with Javen. Congratulations, Javen. You're doing a great job, brother. Keep that Kronk legacy alive, my friend. And once again, we were supposed to have him on this week. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, he's going to be actually pushed back to next week. So expect Javen to make an appearance on WAWR Week Radio once again next
week. Love
hearing
him talk. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. And so last one, Big Frank, I think this is yours, brother.
Okay.
Number 10, and this is a mythical fact or fiction. Are you ready, brother?
All right. Let me try to wrap my mind around this.
Yeah.
You said mythical.
Yep. Fact or fiction, and I want all of you to chime in on this. Fact or fiction, a prime Sugar Shane Mosley beats a prime Floyd Mayweather Jr. at 135 pounds. Fact or fiction?
Man, that's a stumper. Wow.
Shit.
Jeez. At 135, Floyd had the Gotti.
That was at 40, brother.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with Shane. I think a prime
Woo!
Shane. Because he hurt Mayweather. That's my last image of that fight. He hurt him bad. He was just too old at that point. So I got to go with Shane. I like the style, the power punching. He's going to be at his peak. Shoot. Yeah.
Our
go
brother
with-
Sid UK, thank you for still joining us. He says, Pretty Boy wins. And yes, you got the moniker right. He was still Pretty Boy Floyd. Frank, you know what, though? I love your response, man, because Shane, boy, that glorified clubber at 35, man, he was a badass, dude. He was a badass. He had the speed that killed. He had the power. Yeah, he had the tenaciousness. Tenacity, I should say. Tenacity.
I'm just looking at the Shane that fought Oscar De La Hoya. That Shane Mosley, well, I know it's at his more natural weight, but I mean,
35, he was a ferocious and undefeated beast.
His KO ratio at 35 is wicked.
Ridiculous. Right?
And it's never a knock on everybody thinks when you say that their man loses, it's a knock on their man, and that's just fanboy talk.
Yeah, it's just crap.
It's not a knock against Floyd, but Floyd, that's right. Floyd went life and death with Jose Luis Castillo.
Oh, so hey, whoa. Don't discount how awesome Floyd. Don't discount how awesome Jose Luis Castillo used to be in his prime.
I'm just trying to say that people act like Floyd walked on water. It's just not true. The man
they still think that, man.
So don't tell me that he didn't have off nights. I got into it with somebody that they got hurt because I said Floyd had some issues in his career. What are you talking about? Man, then you obviously didn't watch him fight.
Well, look, my dear friend Carlos El Famoso Hernandez, right? Fernandez.
Yes, he fought.
And look, his big noggin is the reason why Floyd had hand problems early in his career, right? Because he was just whooping the shit out of everybody until he fought Carlos, right? And he broke both hands in that fight to the point it was so painful, in fact, according to Floyd, that he was forced to take a knee. And that's the only recorded knockdown of his career.
Facts.
Yep. So, Sean, your thoughts on this mythical matchup, brother? Sugar Shane versus Floyd, prime for prime at 135.
Prime Floyd. Pretty boy was a beast.
Yeah. You know what? Hyphy, your thoughts, my friend.
Fake Glazier.
Well, I'm glad I don't got to answer that
one. Fake Glazier. No, I'm asking you, brother. Come on now. I want you to chime on this as well.
All right, I'm gonna put it like this. If I had to bet my money on it, I would go with I'd go with Floyd by decision. But this fight, it would not surprise me if Shane won. Like, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. Like I said, that knockout ratio at 35 was something wicked. And like you just said, what Frank was saying, those people, they only know Floyd from fighting at 147. They didn't see his past fights. Some people say, he is at his prime at 130, 135, but he had some troubles down there as well. So
Yep. I tell you what, man, it's a great matchup. So I'm gonna throw one else at you, Sean. One more. We're talking about Floyd, right? And he only had 2 fights at 140. But I'm gonna stay at 140 for a second. Aaron the Hawk Pryor versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. at 140 pounds. Who wins and why?
Pryor.
Yeah, and like Ronnie said this past Tuesday, because I posed this to him, and he said, "Look, Pryor wins," and most people don't realize that Coach Ronnie, in the amateurs and in the Olympic trials, he was roommates with Aaron the Hawk Pryor, and he goes, "Oh, the Hawk." He said, especially if you get the Hawk with the mix from Panama Lewis.
He was special. Yeah. You get that special water. It's over. Yeah, you've got
Oh,
asthma all of a,
Chingo.
you've got asthma all of a sudden.
Dude, I honestly, Aaron Pryor, it's hard to imagine him losing in his prime, isn't it?
He was an amazing fighter.
Arguably,
Absolutely
you know
amazing.
what? Arguably the greatest 140 pounder of all time.
Criminally not talked about.
And
enough.
a lot of people will argue that Chavez Sr. was the greatest 140 pounder of all time because it's a relatively new division, right? Considering compared to the lightweight and compared to the welterweight. But in my opinion, Hawk Pryor was the greatest junior welterweight of all time.
Absolute beast. It would be remiss of me to go against him. Against Floyd would have a fucking terrible night against Pryor.
I agree. I
He'd
think
be all
that
over him.
style
He'd be
is all.
smothering him. He'd be hitting him so hard. It would be a nightmare for Floyd to get out of that.
Yep. Try to use the shoulder roll against Aaron Pryor, man, with all those angles. Yep. All those different directions. Punches coming from all different directions. Frank, I'm gonna throw another one at you at 140 real quick, and we're gonna have to say goodnight after this. But let's go Kostya versus Aaron Pryor at 140.
Oh, I have to be honest though. Aaron Pryor is a little before me. I didn't really watch him that much. I mean, I've seen highlights. So
okay, well then let's do this then. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Kostya at 140. How's that?
Okay. Geez. My last images are against Ricky Hatton. I have to go with Floyd. I think he boxes to a decision win. I think he outboxes.
But though, unless you can maul and shorten that, cut off that reaction time and smother Kostya, if you tried to fight him at range, well, you had problems with that right hand now, didn't you?
Yeah, why didn't they ever fight? I mean, it was the perfect.
There's a reason why they didn't fight. You already know that, brother. Come on now. No, Top Rank would never allow that. Come on. Dude, come on now. Sean?
Big Bob was building some pennies at that moment.
Yep, you know the reason why they never tried to put together Kostya versus King Kostya at 140 versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Come on now.
Yeah, no, Floyd, he was managed very, very well. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Let's make no mistake about it, guys. Floyd was a badass. Probably the best defensive fighter I will ever see in my lifetime. And he was a total package at 30, 35, 40. But King Kostya, that guy was special at 140. And unless you could put that pressure on him and be in his grill, just compress him, right? Fight him in a phone booth. If you tried to fight him from mid to long range, just ask Shambe Mitchell. Yeah, you were going to have problems with that right hand.
But that's the thing. Like I said, Floyd was managed very well. And it's not taking anything away from what he achieved because it was amazing. He's an amazing talent, fantastic boxer, one of the greatest. But you can look around at the time that he was fighting and who he was fighting and see the way that they moved. He moved very, very smart. Very smart.
Hyphy, what's on your mind, brother?
Joseph, I heard James Gogi out of his own mouth say that Kostya was like the best amateur he ever seen.
Okay, I'm going to give you his exact words, right? Yep, and you're absolutely right on the money. James Gogi always characterizes whenever Kostya's name comes up, he's like, oh shit, that guy was a stone cold killer. Not only in the pros, but in the amateurs. He's probably the best amateur fighter I've ever seen. So you're right on the money. Guys, Kostya was special. If you're not familiar with his entire career, go look up his fights. That guy was special. But on that note, guys, and I'm so happy to say that we're ending this show on a very positive and happy note. Hallelujah. For the first time, WAWR Week Radio Chats on a Thursday night is ending this on a very happy and positive note. Isn't that wonderful, guys?
Yeah, he's like boxing's like your drunk uncle, He's always entertaining. He may fuck shit up, but he's always entertaining.
I tell you what, but you know what? Like my second and third ex-wife, though, man, it's like we're still waiting. It's like for you to love us back. Come on now. It's like we're devoted and we love you with all of our heart and our soul. Please just love us back for once. Come on now. Come on now. So, Frank, where can we reach you, brother? And your parting shots for our listening audience.
I'm on Twitter at FrankBay9er. You can just follow me or say what's up. Parting shots. I'm just going to be tuning in this weekend to the Bivol Ramirez card. I think I'll catch the girl fight. And even the Dino girl hates it.
I think they'll catch the girl fight.
She's bad. Like she comes a nug. So you know, here's my guideline.
Oh, shit.
If I recommend a fight, you know, like the Taylor Serrano fight, I recommended. I told my pops, hey man, pops, check it out. And he's like, some chicks. And he called me. He's like, man, thank you. That was a good fight.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm calling my friends. I'm saying tune in Bivol Ramirez. You won't be disappointed.
And there it is. Thank you, Big Frank, for always joining us, man, on this Thursday night. Thank you for your insight, my friend. Ivy, your parting shots, brother, and how do we find you?
Well, you can find me standing in a boxing fan's place, which means instead of trying to act like I know the business of boxing, I'm a fan and I ain't about to be a fanager for none of these fighters. So you can find me in the chat, WAWR Week Radio chat. That's where I'm gonna be at. Sean, Frank, it was good talking to y'all as well. Joe, you know, I'll catch you whenever.
God bless you, Hyphy. Thank you for making this show better with your appearance, my friend. Sean, where can we find you, brother? And give us your parting shots on this beautiful Thursday evening.
You can find me here, there, and everywhere, but I won't be there when you're looking. The parting shots are I can't wait for Bivol Zerda. I haven't been excited for a fight like this for a while.
I love it.
It's gonna be a war. I just know it. I know these two are coming for it. I know Bivol keeps saying how much he wants to keep his belt, and Zerda keeps saying how much he wants to take it. And that's what I like to hear from fighters. So yeah, that's me. Just tune in. Don't miss this fight because there's too many people out there getting too concerned about all of this business. That's been going on for far too long now, arguing back and forwards about absolute bollocks. What other fight has this ever happened with? If you really wanted to see this fight so badly, why are you getting involved about numbers and fucking lawyers and apps and he said, she said? Like it's embarrassing to the sport and it shouldn't be happening. And if we're not keeping that energy with other supposed big fights that people get excited for, then we shouldn't be doing it with this one either. So instead of putting them on a pedestal, let's put people like Bivol on a pedestal who's fighting Zerda Ramirez and Canelo Alvarez in the same year. Yeah, let's do it like that.
Very well said, Sean. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, Joseph, as always.
And guys, don't forget about Dave Morrell Jr. fighting
my bad.
Your Bossanelli. That's going to be the main event on Showtime on a tremendous Showtime fight card. And once again, guys, it's going to be a full day of boxing this Saturday. Guys, support DAZN, support Showtime. Should be a great day of boxing this weekend on November 5th. God bless all of you guys. On behalf of HLD, on behalf of Hyphy, on behalf of Big Frank, and on behalf of Sean, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to WAWR Week Radio. Thank you for joining us on a beautiful Thursday evening. Have a great night, everybody.
Peace.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
FightSaga.com presents WAWR Week Radio Chats with Boxing